Welcome into the Spartans Masters Series season finale, sponsored by Chasity, Tucker, Realtor, and I'm joined by two of the best commentators that we got here on Grid Vision. We got Joe LaCastro and Sheldon Atkins joining us because we got a long one here today for the season finale of the Spartans Masters Series at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So Joe, Sheldon, coming into Charlotte. This is one of the most raced racetracks on the iRacing service. What do you guys know about it? What do you guys think about it? And what do you kind of analyze going into the championship race today with the five guys we got going for the championship?
Well, I've only got my experience here is from SSRL last night in the trucks. We watched an incredible race here last night where Chad Genningsman came out on top and really put on a great show. But you know, the most interesting thing that happened all night is that you could not have predicted what was going to happen to the top five. It was a slaughter fest in some of these cases from things you wouldn't even have predicted. But I'll leave it to Sheldon to talk about his opinion as well.
My opinion, coming here since since I first started here in 2018, this is, as you mentioned, the track that everybody has the most experience on because we get a healthy dose of Charlotte throughout all the iRacing divisions throughout the season. That's really cool because that means you got a lot of experience here. But you know what else that means? Everybody on this track probably has more laps at this circuit than they have anywhere else on the iRacing schedule throughout the season. Meaning everybody that you're going to go up against is going to be bringing their A game because this is a home track for everybody here on the service. And you combine that with the fact that this can be a very unpredictable track surface. I mean, there's been years where we've come into turn one here in the first lap and wadded up 15 cars. There's been races where you just show up here and it goes green for a full 600 miles. You never know what you're getting here at Charlotte.
Yeah, looking at the point standings here, Joseph Kazi is your points leader coming into the final race of the playoffs. He's got a 6-point advantage over Levine, 7 points over Seminario, 11 over Henry, and 18 over Gerlach. But I got to point out, Justin Levine and Johan Seminario both get 20-point penalties for the playoff races because of their I rating coming into the series. So Levine and Seminario, it says -6, -7. You can essentially put that as -26 and -27 for the two of those guys. So they've got to get absolutely every point possible out of these opening two stages to have a shot at this championship and to have a shot at their teammate of Joseph Kazi. So with that being said, I believe it's Joe doing the keys to the race. Joe, what are your keys?
Well, it's my keys to the race tonight. I'm going to split them with Sheldon, though. So I'll start off.
That's fine. I will.
Yeah, I'll let you take it away, Sheldon. You probably got a better handle on this than I do right now.
Absolutely there, brother. Sorry for stealing them from you here for the last race of the season. But first thing, most important, it's going to be big picture all night long. And that goes for everybody in this field. If you're one of these guys that's not in the opportunity to go out here and win the championship, odds are you don't want to be the guy to go out here and embarrass yourself and take out one of the championship hopefuls. If you're in for the championship, you've got to be thinking about your points. You've got to be thinking about your positions. You got to be thinking about every move that you make before you make it. And you've got to do a lot of risk management. Is this position worth it right now? Is this situation where I need to be? Number two, every point matters. Every spot on that track matters, especially if you're one of your championship hopefuls here. You want to capture as many positions to build as much of a cushion or dig yourself out of the hole as quickly as you possibly can. And then to round it all out, based on what we saw last night in the truck series, pit road. Everything about pit road was what shaped the championship for the SSRL truck series brought to you by Chasity, Tucker, Realtor last night. Whether it was running out of fuel coming to the end of the stage or getting run over or a couple trucks just spinning down pit road because it's a very difficult pit road to get down now with that big wall slammed down there right outside of the chicane in the infield. Things can get hairy pretty quickly.
We're going to go ahead and, go ahead and jump into the broadcast picks before we get into gridding here before the season finale. Up first, myself, I'm going to be going with Johan Seminario. I know that he hates whenever I pick him, but I think that Johan's going to be gunning for those points here early in the first two stages to really close up that deficit, and I think that he's going to come away with the championship here tonight. What about you, Joe?
I'll take Justin Levine. Something tells me that he is going to come away with it all at the end, the big dub. So I'll take the number 1 car, please.
I'm sure Justin Levine is going to love the flattery there, especially if it backfires on him. But I'm about to go with the 25 machine of PB Henry. I know how aggressive he can be, and I know how scrappy he can be when he knows that he has a shot to walk away with the big prize and over the season championship on the line here. And the struggles that he's been through off and on throughout the season, I think PB is going to be a tough one to beat, especially if it comes down to a late race caution.
And in all seriousness, every time that I pick Johan Seminario to win a race this year, he ends up wrecking. So be prepared for Johan to wreck in the first 30 laps. Just a little bit of a heads up to everybody watching. But nonetheless, as the cars are starting to grid out here on the racetrack, we're going to go ahead and do a run through of our starting lineup. And it looks like it's 2 of the championship contenders lining up the front row. Joseph Kazi, your points leader, going to be starting on the pole with his teammate Johan Seminario on his outside, about 14 thousandths of a second between the two. Starting in the 3rd place position is another teammate from those guys, One Sim representing the top 3. Reese Schaefer starting in the 3rd place spot. Mark Sanchez going to be the second of the non-playoff cars here, starting in 4th place position. Row number 3 is going to be headed up by Justin Levine, another playoff car with Jarrett Feltman on his outside in 6th. Chris Vinson going to be starting in the 7th place position with Tim Wortman Jr. on his outside in 8th. Nick Keene lines up in the 9th place spot with PB Henry, championship contender, rounding out the top 10.
Moving on, we've got Dakota Jorgensen in the 11th place spot with Art Nicotera on the outside. 12th, it's going to be Dave Fuge with Chad Kibbe on the outside. 13th, Lou Christian. 14th, Pat Harvey, 15th, then Kevin Zosiak in 17th, and then Jose Medina in 18th. Kyle Westwood in 19th, and Robert Pisaw in 20th.
And in 21st, we got Corey Saucier, followed by Kyle Gerlach, one of your championship hopefuls and the latest in the grid, starting in 22nd. 23rd is going to be Jordan Sailors with Kalen Mitchell in 24th. 25th place is going to be Colton Gardner. And then rounding out your 27 car field tonight is going to be Evan Ethel and Sammy Harrell.
So 27 car field here for the championship, 240 laps, one more stage tonight than we typically see here in the Spartans Master Series presented by Chasity Tucker Realtor. So 60 laps for the first stage, another 60 to lap 120 for the second stage, and then the final stage here tonight is going to be 120 laps in and of itself to the finish of the 240 lap scheduled distance through the first 2 stages. Like I said, a lot of these guys are going to have to be going for every single point possible. A couple of their guys, a couple of the One Sim guys have really high I rating. They have to take a little bit of a point penalty hit on that. So Justin Levine, Johan Seminario going to be gunning for everything right off of the start of this race as the iRacing pace truck is getting ready to pull off of turn number 4 down to pit road after the one and only pace lap here before we get this thing kicked off. 38 laps of fuel expected, 6 sets of tires behind pit wall, 7 including the one they got in their cars right now. As we come up to the restart zone for the first time tonight, the green flag is flying and we're racing for a championship from Charlotte. Oh, we're wrecking. They're in the championship race already. One car into the outside fence, spinning towards the back of the field. We're going to have the first caution before we even get out of turn number 2. We're still under green. The green flag is still out. The 25, though, destroyed on the start. Is that PB Henry already
Yeah,
wrecked?
that's PB. PB
Yes,
Henry
sir.
with heavy damage to the right side of the car. Haven't seen the replay just yet. Getting that worked up in the trailer here, but a huge hit for his possibility of walking away with the championship here tonight because that car is absolutely junked. Back up at the front of the field, though, Joseph Kazi holding off Reese Schaefer here at the point. I can't believe what we just saw. I also cannot believe that wasn't a caution because that was a
PB Henry
huge
has just been
crash.
screwed right off the start. I mean, we're going to get a look at the replay. A huge stack up because I think Mark Sanchez is in the wrong gear, and then PB just got squeezed out of the group, and a couple of cars just could not get slowed down in time. Kyle Gerlach, too, another one of your championship 5.
Doesn't look like Gerlach got too much damage here, but PB Henry definitely getting the worst of the deal here at the start. Gerlach
Was that just a
beat up too
misshift?
on that right front.
I think he started in the wrong gear.
That's what it looks like to me. It looks like he started in the wrong gear and just completely spun his tires.
I don't think he spun the tires. I think he was in 4th or 5th gear instead of 2nd, and the car just didn't go whenever the throttle got pressed right. There was no power to the engine, really. Sanchez was the one that did not get on the gas or was in the wrong gear on the start. So we'll have to get a look at Sanchez is maybe on board to see exactly what happened. I think we can't see the gearing.
Let's see that. We can tell by the RPMs though.
Yeah, we can
get on
see
board.
from the onboard. I mean, he's in 2nd gear.
Yeah, he is in 2nd, so
Beck Henry's on board.
I think the gear is actually a visual, a little bit of a visual look. They don't actually show you what gear you're in. So he was at 4,400 RPM. Maybe we can get a look at Joseph Kazi's RPM to see what he was going at.
Yeah, the RPM definitely isn't correct off the dashboard because you can hear it in the car there how low the engine sounded like it was in the power band. So that means he was most likely in about 4th gear, 5th gear, probably trying to save a little bit of fuel here, and just didn't realize how low in he was. And it's a lot harder with this next gen car, especially since we don't have the H pattern shifter in these things where, you know, sequential. You gotta wait a couple seconds to get down in the brake gear. You're in the wrong one.
Nick King to the race lead. He looked to the inside of Joseph Kazi got the turn number 2. He's able to easily take that away from Kazi, and I do think that we're going to see a little bit of strategy out of these guys. Maybe a couple of these contenders deciding to save a set of tires under the first pit stop. I imagine we're going to see it within the first 38 laps here. Only 38 laps of gas. So I imagine on that first pit stop, a lot of these guys are going to be, playing the saving a tire set game just for later in the race to make sure that they have a set lane in the pits just in case we get that late race caution. So we'll pay attention to that. But Nick King taking the race lead, not looking like he's worried about saving the set currently.
Schaefer sitting in the 3rd position right now, having a little bit of connection issue here in front of Justin Levine. Blinked out a couple times, going up to the outside line now, letting Levine have the inside lane, trying to make sure that doesn't put his buddy in a bad spot here as Levine moves up to the 3rd position now, right behind Joseph Kazi.
Now Schaefer's up the top, but he needs to watch out because Dakota Jorgensen and that other crew there in the back are also forming that second line on the outside, and it looks like just a little bit the 97 of Schaefer isn't quite forming up with that crew. And so if they're going to push past him, then he needs to watch his back.
Yeah, right now Reese using the outside line momentum to pull him down the back straightaway, get him up side by side even with the 8 machine of Dakota Jorgensen. Getting the momentum here. Wow, that was hard to get up. The momentum here coming out of turn 4. He's going to take the position back from Dakota, all in line behind Johan Seminario. Now Luke Christian coming up to the outside lane with a lot of speed into turn 1.
Side by side out through turns 1 and 2 from about 6th place on back. Luke Christian, Reese Schaefer in a side by side battle for 5th place. Reese way down the racetrack, not really pressuring them too much. Reese has those yellow playoff banners on, but I do got to say, he is not in the playoffs anymore. Reese got eliminated in the last round, so ignore the little yellow stripe banner across that windshield for Reese Schaefer. But your 2nd through 4th place runners right now, Levine, Kazi, and Seminario, all in the playoffs, all looking to get as many points as they can possibly get here in the early running. And I gotta say, looking back, PB Henry with that wounded race car is only about 5 seconds away from going a lap down. He's 25 seconds off the race lead. It takes about 30 to get around this track, so he's only got a 5-second gap to the race leaders. It'll probably be, let's see how much he ends up losing this time by. He lost over a second, so he's only got about 5 laps before he goes a lap down. He's going to be begging and praying for a caution here soon.
Just for PB Henry, though, is that there is guaranteed cautions on the board here today with the stage, so he has that to his credit at least. A little bit of time to come down pit road and work on it, but he is definitely very far behind the 8 ball. Even though this is a long race, it's going to be really difficult for him to claw his way back up through this field.
Yeah, and those cautions you're talking about, that's not going to happen until 60 laps into this race. So he's got a long time to wait before anything sanctioned is going to happen. That's going to end up, closing up the gap or giving him a chance to get a lap back. The PB Henry is in a bad spot right now, any way you slice it, unfortunately.
The problem for PB is, he's got those guaranteed cautions, so he's definitely going to be able to get that car fixed. But, I mean, he needs the points from those guaranteed cautions, right? If he can't get this thing fixed before the lap 30 mark, lap 40 mark, and at least have, an opportunity to get up into the top 10 by the end of this first stage, I mean, you almost have to count him out, and it's through no fault of his own, right? Like we said, Mark Sanchez either started in the wrong gear, shifted up too early on the initial start. Unfortunately, we can't tell for sure because we cannot get the accurate reading on his RPM or the gear that he was in. Because spectating on iRacing is a little funky, but nonetheless, tough break for PB Henry. Hopefully he can get something done. But here comes Justin Levine going around the outside of PB Henry, putting him a lap down. PB Henry actually going a lap down from Nick King, getting by him a little bit earlier. Not necessarily the end of the world for PB just yet. The next car that will go a lap down has about 11 seconds of a gap in front of your race leader. So if the yellow does come out, PB will get the lucky dog. But man, he needs it to come out pretty soon.
One thing for PB Henry too is the fact that he's driving a beer can in the middle of a sea of fast race cars right now. It's very easy to get yourself into a little bit of a mishap situation when you're surrounded by that many quick cars, especially with the change of the car's handling too, with all the damage. When you're packed up with all these cars, you're going to be going a lot quicker than what you were initially. So, could be a bit of a nervous moment here for PB Henry. As you look now, Johan Seminario trying to make a move on Joseph Causey down at turns 3 and 4. Working the inside line, Causey up there, up against the fence, coming out of 4. Johan with a little bit more momentum, going to pull here at the line, but here comes Causey fighting back pretty quick.
This is a good side-by-side situation here we've got brewing. You guys were just talking about the situation PB Henry was in. He got put 3 wide. He was the center car 3 wide just a few moments ago. So, yeah, he's got a lot to cycle through as we got these guys kind of straightened out a little bit, though. Still a little bit of action, a little bit further back as things spread out over the course of the field. We're only about lap 16 right now, looking at around, like you said, 38 when we're going to have these guys start pitting in. And we're all got to go all the way to 60 for the first stage. So watching them spread out a little bit, though, I got to imagine that where PB Henry might even have a second lap to worry about if nothing happens here.
I'd have to agree with you 100%. If we stay green this entire stage, I think he goes a second lap down. I think somebody in front of him goes a lap down to take that lucky dog away from him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 240 lap race, and for PB to get taken out basically lap 0, right? He hadn't even gotten across the start-finish line by the time he got hit. And then a yellow not coming out. That's the big thing for me. I can't believe a yellow didn't come out. We had 2 cars stopped on the racetrack and 2 more that were crawling, and we did not get a yellow flag. That's the big thing for me that I'm more frustrated about. He could have had an opportunity to fix most of that damage immediately on lap number 1, just would have basically given up his starting position and gone to the back of the field. But instead, I mean, he's just a wounded warrior out there, and he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, don't usually like to talk to guys who are going through spots of bad luck, but I'd love to hear what's going through his head. It's probably echoing exactly what you were just saying there.
Yeah, where's Michael Waltrip when you need him? If you're PB Henry right now.
Yeah, he definitely needs somebody to drop a yellow flag on the track. That is for sure. He would absolutely love Michael Waltrip to climb up in that spotter stand or the flagman stand on the front straightaway and just throw that yellow flag. The problem is, I don't think he's going to get a yellow anytime soon. I know that sounds terrible, and you think, man, why aren't they racing a little bit harder? Well, it's a 240 lap race, 60 laps in the first stage, and like I said, I think you have to save a tire set if you want to win this race later on. So I think a lot of these guys in the top 10 are running about 80 to 90% of what their max speed could be. I think we are seeing heavy tire saving out of most of the front pack because they know that they're going to have to come down pit road and not take tires in this first stage. The only guy that didn't was Nick King. He kind of pushed out to an 0.8 of a second lead, and that has started to shrink down to under 0.4 of a second. Is he now saving tires so that he can be equal with everybody else and not take another set, or is his set of tires already run the good out of them, or is he already run the good out of his current set of tires? We'll just have to wait and see.
And a couple of shakeups here in the running order. Johan Seminario made a pass about a lap and a half ago to move himself up to 3rd place. Luke Christian going to roll it over pretty easy, let him get by and take the spot, knowing what he's fighting for. As you see Zodiac up to the fence, was trying to battle with Joseph Causey, but got up into that gray a little bit, tiptoed over the cushion, up into the fence, got hooked up there for a second. Going to lose a handful of spots here. As you see him just fall backwards through the field now, right behind the 8 machine of Dakota Jorgensen.
A lot of back and forth here in that spot for 10th and 11th position as we got these guys side by side. The 8 machine right there, that's Dakota Jorgensen, 15 of Kevin Zodiac. A lot of interesting battles there as these guys are practically nose for nose. As we have a few other moves going on a little bit further up. Kyle Westwood, a name that we heard a lot in the Truck Series last night. Kyle Westwood makes his way up. He's up 11 places right now. Makes his way up to 8th place.
Westwood, another one of those guys that got robbed last night, too. Had so much pace. As we got into the later stages of the night, a little bit of an incident on pit road. You know, not necessarily anybody's fault. Just, bad luck happens sometimes, and mistakes are made on occasion. But that was just enough to nail the coffin for Kyle Westwood's championship hopes yesterday evening.
Nick King starting to get reeled in up at the front of the field. Joseph Causey trying to make a move down here, stuck in a side-by-side battle, but up towards the front, Levine Now as close to the back bumper to Nick King as he has been through the first 25 laps. Nick running a lane up the racetrack. Levine still painting that bottom side. He's going to get to the inside, down the front straightaway. Only 25 laps into this thing, and here comes Levine and Seminario, the two guys that have the 20-point penalty that need to get every single point they possibly can here tonight. Well, Levine is about to add the lap-led bonus to his tally. He takes the race lead, and I think that Johan is going to follow him through here pretty shortly.
Yeah, and King, you can tell, absolutely losing the handle on the CFM machine. Maybe got to the front and charged a little too hard too early as you see him backpedaling here through the field. Now, Johan Seminario to the inside. And Johan going to make quick work of the 9 machine as well here. Nick King, 2 spots in 1 lap. Johan Seminario now moved up to the 2nd place with his eyes set on the championship hopes right in front of him, Justin Levine.
Now, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is the kind of race that race this long in this kind of circumstances. This is not the kind of race that you want to be leading early on.
I mean,
does that sound accurate?
I'd rather have the clean air on my nose. You don't want to lead it in the first 10 to 15 laps like Nick did. My whole thing is just that he came through the field really quick and got out to too big of a lead. I'm totally content with leading as long as I'm not just gapping the field, because I'm the next gen car. Typically, especially early run, whenever you're gapping the field like that, you're probably burning your tires up too much. I think we saw that with Nick, and now we're seeing Levine and Seminario just pull away from the rest of the field. In this scenario, I would much rather be at the front, especially if you're a guy like Levine or Seminario who need every single point, right? There's a bonus point for most laps led, for fastest lap, for leading 1 lap. So every single one of those bonus points mean a ton to both of the drivers in the front too. And I gotta think that Levine's not gonna just let Seminario lead a lap. He's gonna try everything he can to keep that 56 behind him.
Racing his teammates harder than anybody in the field. And Johan, pretty much the same. These two, they've shared a lot of blows with each other. They've worked together great at times, but when it's when there's a big prize at the end of the line, neither one of these two drivers are going to give each other an inch. But Johan hounding the number 1 Mac Tools machine here as he works out number 1 and 2. A little bit further back at Joseph Causey in front of Luke Christian. And what looks like it's going to break out into a hornet's nest here in a couple of laps for that second part of the first pack. Nope, 1 car coming down pit road, the 55 machine. That was a scary entry right there.
Yeah, that's Jordan Sailors.
So is Luke Christian. So they're pitting this, or they're making this directly in half. Let's see if these guys take tires, right? Sailors pulling down pit road. Going to get a look at the 21 of Luke Christian, see if that right side goes up, or is this going to be a gas only? Nope, he is splitting this thing so that he can take tires and charge to the front. So Luke Christian decided to take tires under this first pit stop. A little surprise. Johan Seminario now pitting from the 2nd place spot. This is one we really got to pay attention to. Is he saving a set of tires? Is he taking 4? This is one of your championship contenders that needs every single point possible. So does he take a set and try to run back down through the field to get as good of a finish as possible? I got to think with him pitting halfway through instead of at lap 38, like we know the fuel can make it to, I imagine he'll be taking tires as well.
And watching right now, yep, the jack is up, taking right sides currently. Seminario taking 4 tires here on pit road, so that is a set of tires in the arsenal scratched off for the 56 machine here. Meanwhile, Levine still staying on the track as we look at Kevin Zosiak dive down pit road, leading a handful of other cars behind him. There's Mark Sanchez in the 29 machine, as well as the 18 of Corey Saucier and the 40 of Colton Gardner.
Watching Justin Levine still out on the racetrack. No,
he's
not
in
anymore. He's coming down pit road. Really quick entry from the number 1 of Justin Levine. I got to think that he's going to be handing this lead over to Johan Seminario, though. Johan hitting a couple laps before Levine was right on his back bumper. I think that lead is going to change hands by the time Levine comes out pit road.
Wondering what the strategy is for Justin. If he's going to come in, take tires, does he can try and get the pace to win the stage, or if he's just going to go in with no tires? You see him lift the jack up. So Levine also taking 4 Goodyear Eagles here on pit road.
This
race
pit
back
strategy. Go on.
Race back in the hands now of Nick King as we look at Joseph Causey now diving the 88 DeWalt Power Tools machine down pit road. Nick King and Jarrett Feltman leading the charge right now.
And this strategy of splitting the race in half versus waiting to run a little bit further on the gas has really got the field split on when to take this pit stop. And it looks like the whole field has tried a different strategy almost. I'm waiting to see who's going to run it a little bit hotter and come in over the next 4 laps basically here.
Johan did end up jumping Justin Levine, and he's actually got a pretty sizable gap over him. 2 lap pressure tires for Levine, so over the course of this entire run, you got to think Levine will run him down at least a good bit to his back bumper, but getting to him and passing him are 2 separate things, especially because it's not like it's that long of a run, right? With the abbreviated fuel cells, we're only pitting halfway through this stage, so you're not having to run this thing 55 laps, 60 laps. You're only running it 30 laps on the tires, 25 laps on the tires, so Levine might run out of time and could hand this stage win over to somebody like Johan Seminario. Just gonna have to wait and see. Currently, these guys all a lap down to your race leader of Nick King, who has not come down pit road just yet. Unfortunately, though, someone who has PB Henry and Kyle Gerlach, both of the other 2 championship contenders who got involved in that lap 1 melee, both 2 laps down already.
Big loss for Kazi here, too. Got kind of mired up with a couple of guys on older tires. They're running side by side in front of him. As you see him side by side now with the 75 machine at Gerlach. Loses a handful of tenths there in that last lap to Levine and Seminario. So that's going to be a little bit of a hole for the 88 machine to climb out of here.
Here comes another down pit road. Who's that there? I think it's Arden Nicotera, Jose Medina.
That is Nick King on pit road right now, so surrendering the race lead here.
All right. Again, people waiting until that last moment, but we're here at the end of the official, or the end of the estimated fuel tank amount. Pardon me, the fuel range. Lap 38, laps 37. This is about where things are going to become fumes in there. So everyone should be getting down there at this point. Only got a few who haven't. Speaking of which, Sammy Harrell.
We had said 38 laps. We're on lap 39, so just making and Harold did not have the pit entry that he would have wanted in that number 42. And he backed it into the pit wall as well. Ultimately, the next-gen car built pretty sturdy, so I don't think the back end's going to be too hurt. Just going to be interesting to see here on Sammy Harold how heavy he hit that inside wall with the front end, if he did at all. As we're going to watch him come down pit road here, see exactly what happens in the number 42 coming off of turn 4. Just hit the apron at a bad angle with too much speed. Honestly, just a glancing blow to the inside wall, so not going to be too much damage to that number 42.
This is the same thing we saw last night late in the race. It's very easy to mess it up coming into pit road here at Charlotte.
It'll bite you. It'll bite you way harder than you expect it to if you're not careful. Looking good, Johan Seminario.
Yeah, with a decent enough advantage over Justin Levine, who's now worked his way up to the 3rd position. See these guys carving into the lead now. Jorgensen on pit road, taking his 4 tires and fuel. So that is going to hand the lead over to the 56 machine of Johan Seminario, and Justin Levine just about, 2-3 seconds behind him?
A little over a second and a half. He, let's see, coming across the line this time. Looks like it was 1.6. Yeah, 1.5. Okay, so not too much between the two. That last lap, Johan ran a 29.746 to Justin's 6.21. So Justin is closing in that gap ever so slightly, which is an advantage of that. Obviously, another lap car for Justin to get around before he actually gets up to Johan. And there's still 20 laps left in this stage as we look a little bit further back through the pack. Another championship contender, Joseph Ghazi, looking to the inside of Jordan Sailors, trying to take 4th place away. Another valuable bonus point, or not bonus point, but stage point potentially for your current championship leader.
Ghazi's been struggling to make this pass for the last handful of laps. Been stuck behind the 55 machine of Sailors here for what feels like a millennium at this point. And you see, he's still not able to clear the 55 machine. So the time is running out for Joseph Ghazi as we get into the closing laps here in the first stage.
Not a lot of time, but he can work with that. We've seen Joseph Causey work with that before, even in those situations. And right now he's there on the inside, making the pass work for him as best he possibly can there against the 55 of Jordan Sailors. I'd say give it some time. He doesn't have a lot, but he's going to use what time he's got available.
Well, the good thing is he does have the 21 machine of Christian in front of him. I imagine a corner or two, the 21 of Christian's probably going to move out of the way. He's been very mindful of these championship drivers here this afternoon. So I don't expect him to fight Causey too much, knowing how important this extra point is for the 88 machine. As we look at PB Henry now leaving pit road after such a horrible start to the evening tonight.
Yeah, no kidding. Fingers crossed for Mr. Henry. Can make it to the end of the stage incident-free.
Johan still your race leader, about a 1.2 second gap to Justin Levine. Levine going to continue to try to run him down as we take a quick step aside and go to our first commercial break of the evening. When we come back, we're going to take you to the end of stage number 1.
Sponsor of the Royal League Racing Diecast 150 in the Monster Mile. And that's the famous words of motorsports. Hey, Gabby. Driver, start, go, and go!
Welcome back to the Spartans Master Series season finale, brought to you by Chasity Tucker, Realtor. Right now, Seminario is still your race leader. He's got an 8.5 of a second gap over his teammate Justin Levine as we're coming down to the end of stage number 1. The problem for both of these guys, they're not making up much ground on Joseph Causey. Causey might have a, he might be back behind them by 5 seconds or so, 6 seconds to your race leader, but he's got that huge lead over those guys in the points because of their 20-point penalty that is coming to the front two. So ultimately, Causey running in third place, getting all the points that he needs to still be the champion by the end of the night. If he finishes each stage in third, first stage, second stage, and the final one, I don't think that anybody in the field is going to be able to beat him on points. So Johan and Levine are going to need something to happen to Causey through the course of this race for them to really stick it to him and bring the championship fight to him.
To so many weeks, I mean, so many times throughout every league that I think I've covered him in, you see just a flair for the aggressive side of that 88 machine. And tonight, it's just been very conservative so far, very laid back, kind of a nonchalant race here for the DeWalt Power Tools Camry. And just slowly tiptoeing himself through the field, knows he's got a fast car, knows that he's fast here on these long runs, and he's just letting this race fall into his lap, letting this championship fall where it needs to be. So definitely a good ride so far for the 88 of Causey.
Right now, sitting comfortably in third as well. He's got only about 9 laps to go, about 10 laps to go until the end of this stage with that NASCAR math. With Seminario in the front, Levine in second, Causey in third.
Also, a battle for the lead starting to ramp up here. Justin Levine has gotten to the back bumper, the 56 of Seminario. And Seminario's really loose through 1 and 2. Levine all over the back bumper, giving him a little bit of a shot out of turn 2. Now Levine dives down to the inside, trying to get past the 56 machine, and I think he's going to get him coming into 3.
They pushed him up the racetrack in turn 2 as Seminario got loose, but Johan is not going to just roll over and give this spot to Justin. He's staying side by side right with him, but
Oh,
that
big
back end
loose.
is sketchy out of turn number 4. Both these guys in a dead heat down to the line. If the stage ended there, Johan would have had it by a couple thousandths, but coming down into turn number 1 with 8 laps left in the stage, he's just not willing to give that spot up.
This battle over 1 point here. 1 point could be everything here in this championship. You see them dead heat down the back straightaway. Seminario pulling a little bit of draft off the 83 machine of Wortman, but not going to give him too much here as Levine is still down to the inside. Seminario with the advantage coming out of turn 4. Levine charging back hard, though. Side by side at the line, it's going to be Seminario leading lap 53 into 1. A little bit of a hip check out of Justin Levine. Down to the bottom of the track, up by the paint, but Seminario holding on strong with the outside line momentum.
Man, that outside line has been paying off just enough here with the patience. Seminario out there now leading things, holding off Justin Levine, who's back down in second and going up and down the track, but Seminario staying up there on the outside line, found a great groove and holding on to it. It seems to be just too much, just a little bit too much for the number 1, but the number 1 now is putting up a fight yet again.
Johan just able to dive it down deeper in the corner, running that top side of the racetrack, but you can tell that right rear is starting to hurt on that number 56. Levine better through the center of the corner and able to get the side draft coming off. Going to be a dead heat down the back straightaway. Once again, 5.5 laps left in stage number 1. Levine rolls it down to the bottom as good as he can, trying to get the momentum on exit, but Johan just not giving him enough racetrack for Justin to do what he wants to do. 5 laps to go, and Johan still by a bumper cover across the line.
Still a side-by-side battle here up at the front. Close. It could be anybody's stage. This is unresolved business. And I doubt we're going to see it resolve until the very last second, boys.
4 laps to go here in stage number 1. Levine trying everything he can to get this spot away from Johan. Try to get that extra stage 1 point. But it just has not been enough. Johan's done enough on that top side of the racetrack to be able to hang on. Levine just going to have to fall back in line once again. Both these guys bleeding time in the third place runner of Kazi, but they're not bleeding it fast enough for Kazi to actually get into the battle. Still a 4-second gap between the 2 leaders and Joseph Kazi. They're in third place. 3 laps to go in stage number 1. Johan still your race leader, but Levine looking ever so slightly quicker. If he could just clear Johan, I think he'd have the move completed and done and not get challenged again. But he has just not been able to clear that number 56.
Really hasn't been.
Just gonna have to lift off the turn number 2 there. Johan a little tight off the corner. Justin got on the gas a little bit too heavy, and he might have used those tires up a little bit too much, riding on the bottom side of the racetrack lap after lap after lap. Coming to 2 laps to go. Levine trying to get that head of steam once again, coming down to turn 1, but not quite close enough to really make anything of it. He's going to get side by side through the middle of the corner. But Johan using the momentum from the top side of the racetrack, looking a little bit stronger than Levine, but no, Levine pushing up to him on the exit of turn number 2. A better exit that time for Justin. A little bit of door contact between the 2. Coming down to turn 3 and coming to the white flag of stage number 1. Who's it going to be out of the 1Sim teammates to get the maximum amount of points here in stage 1? Almost contact again down the front straightaway. There's the contact right across the line. Levine doing everything he can. Coming down to turn 1. He wants that bonus point. Johan wants that bonus point. Who's it going to be? Levine washes up the racetrack right in the door of Johan coming off of turn number 2, not giving him a lot of room. But Johan gets the better run coming off of the corner. Levine not even side by side coming down to turn 3. Johan stays committed to the top side of the racetrack. Levine back down to the bottom, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Johan coming off of turn number 4, and he's going to win stage number 1 and get the maximum amount of points possible to give himself a shot to win this championship. But Kazi finishing in P3, going to do just enough to be able to keep himself in that provisional lead, even with the as they run point standing. So Kazi still your championship leader, but Seminario and Levine looking the most feisty out of everybody on the racetrack.
What a finish. What a finish to that stage. Just a battle between those two for so many laps. It was side by side with Seminario and Levine. And then Kazi in there. It was an incredible battle. Sorry, I'm dizzy. Yeah.
The one stage point coming in handy, or could come in handy there for Johan Seminario. Ends up picking up 2 points on the points leader of Joseph Kazi. Both these guys getting the lap lead bonus as well. Kazi got the pole bonus though, so kind of offsetting a little bit of that, and also Kazi led a lap early, so ultimately Kazi with those bonus points still looking a little bit better than both of the two that are running up in front of them as they come down to pit road. Got to expect all these guys to take 4 tires once again, making sure they get themselves ready for the start of stage number 2.
Yeah, these guys definitely praying that something bad happens to Joseph Causey in that 88 machine if they want to have an opportunity to win this championship, because Joseph's just doing such a tremendous job at following right in their tire tracks here to make sure that he doesn't let them get away with too much of an advantage. Like Johan Seminario is going to lead the race off of pit road over Justin Levine. Jared Feldman coming out third. Causey losing a handful of spots. Going to drop down to 6th here, leaving pit road. And actually, Kyle Westwood wins the race off, but wondering if he, with that advantage that he has, though, I wonder if he maybe did a little bit of...
He did gas
a
only.
bit of a gamble. Yeah, it looks like a fuel only for the 92 machine up here at the point.
So a couple guys with a little bit of strategy. I kind of like the idea of saving a set of tires for later in the race. If you're not in the championship hunt, go ahead, save a set of tires and try to win the race. Screw the championship, right? Just go in there, or go in here, save a set of tires for later, just in case we get that late race yellow flag, and charge through the field, because we know that Charlotte tears up tires pretty good.
So if we do happen to get that late race caution too, Westwood setting himself up in a field of his own, because everybody else has gone through here and used up a set of tires. Also, as you see, PB Henry getting the wave around here, staying out on the track, staying out of pit road, trying to get any of these laps back, sitting there 3 laps down when we came to the caution that time. Now he's going to be 2 laps down once he comes back to the tail end of the field. Also, Westwood swapping positions here with Johan on the restart, letting Johan have the inside line. He doesn't want to be messing up the inside lane here on the old tires. So a very courteous move out of the 92 machine of Westwood.
Is it a courteous move, or does he just really want that top? Maybe on the older tires it'll be a little bit easier to defend. Nonetheless, I don't know if you're going to be able to do much defending after 20, 25 laps on your tires. You're just going to kind of be a little bit of a sitting duck, I got to say. Coming down to the restart zone once again here after our first caution of the afternoon. Kyle Westwood, your race leader, on the outside there, only took gas. Coming down to the green flag, and we're racing once again from Charlotte. 56 laps to go whenever we take the green here in stage number 2. Johan with a shove from his teammates, going to be side by side with Westwood as we come down to 1. Westwood way wide up the racetrack on the older tires, not going to be able to hold off anybody as that inside line surges. Johan, Levine, and Kazi back to the top 3.
Johan Seminario leading down into turn 3. Levine all over the back bumper. Causey staggering up the track a little bit, trying to get a little bit of clean air to the nose of the DeWalt Camry. But staying in line right now behind the rest of these guys as we see a little bit of side-by-side action shaking up. Westwood just trying to hold on as best he can, as you see Vincent down to the inside trying to get past him. Now here comes the 55 machine of Jordan Sailors.
Sailor's having a good run so far, and I got to speak a little bit about Westwood not taking the tires. I still really like that call. We always knew that after that restart, he was just going to plummet through the field on the older stuff, but this is really a long-term play. Man, if he gets a caution in 25 laps, he'll be caught up with the rest of the field, have an extra set of tires for later in the race. And even if the yellow doesn't come out, I think he stays on the lead lap before the pit stop and should be able to at least manage after the initial green flag pit stop here in stage number 2. Keep himself on the lead lap and give himself an opportunity still in that third stage. It's just all about staying on the lead lap now for Kyle Buescher.
That might be a little difficult though, because we've been staying green here for long stints at Charlotte. It's been a pretty clean race so far, knock on wood. As you look at Sailors up there working the outside lane now, trying to get past the 12 machine of Feltman. Feltman, one that's really brought a lot of pace here in the closing weeks of the SSRO series. Holding on pretty strong here in the 5th spot, but here comes Sailors around the outside line, now side by side with Causey. And he's going to clear Causey down the back straightaway. Sailors fast here, 70 laps in.
Sailors are on the outside of Levine now for second place. Jordan Sailors not willing to save tires. He's going to take that number 55 straight to the outside of your race leader of Johan Seminario. Sailors just absolutely flying around the outside of the racetrack, pushing that thing for everything it's got. And he's got that thing up to the race lead.
Oh, here we go for second.
Levine diving
And
down
here-
to the inside. Look at him, man. He just absolutely took that from Johan.
Yeah, I don't think Johan's really wanting to charge it too hard here. He saw a good Levine save tires on that first run, probably trying to back it down, take a little bit off the top here and let Levine try to go out there and run with it. Smart calls out of the 56 machines. Everybody's single filing up now throughout the field. These guys settling themselves in for a nice long run. Right now we're looking at how far down the totem pole Westwood has fallen on these old tires, now about to get passed by the back half of the field. Tell you what, every time I do that, every time I try to save a set for later in the race, how about you, Edstrom? I always get just nervous, just getting blown by the entire field.
I think, if you're going to do it, you've just got to know that you're going to get blown by, right? You kind of take the tires knowing that it's a short-term loss for a long-term gain. And like I said, as long as he stays on the lead lap, he's fine. I typically save my nerves, especially these mile and a halves whenever you know the caution flag is going to come out on the stages in a little bit of time. You can kind of manage it a little bit better. I get nervous whenever there's no stages. If I'm running a race all the way to the end and I've got to save a set, I get a little bit more nervous there. But here with the stages, I like the move from Westwood. It definitely hurts right now. It sucks, honestly. But if we get that late race caution with 15, 20 laps to go, and he's still on the lead lap, he's going to be the fastest guy out here by far. So I honestly really, really like the call from Westwood. Yeah, it sucks right now, but I think he knows exactly what he's doing in terms of just saving his stuff, making sure he's in it at the end.
Now from Nick King. King going to take the spot with ease on the back straightaway, move him up to second place. Levine still on the tire management strategy. You see him riding behind in third, letting these guys go out there and race it up like they did in the first stage and try to reel them back at the end.
Scott Schroeder mentioning in the chat he had some bad storms. His power ended up going out, so unfortunately Schroeder not going to be able to, or was not able to get into the race tonight. I kind of feel his pain. I just about got hit by a tornado tonight, so I definitely relate. Luckily dodged it just barely. Missed my apartment by a couple of miles, so I kind of cut it close tonight myself. Yeah, I think God's just trying to take me out, right? He gave me cancer, and now he's throwing tornadoes at me. I don't really know what to say at this point. I mean, it is just getting to be a little ridiculous. I promise you, I have asked him to take away the toughest battles, and he's starting to throw tornadoes at me, so I don't really know what to tell you about that.
You are his strongest warrior, Austin.
I can firmly say that that is not true. But hey, you know what? Well, sometimes it just goes like that, you know. I don't know the humor in throwing tornadoes at people, but hey, he's finding it.
Well, we're glad that you managed to make it through another life-altering situation completely unscathed here, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, who knows? Third time's the charm.
It's probably gonna be it's gonna be the Talladega infield that's gonna take you out. We'll be real here for a second.
Oh my goodness. No. The Talladega infield's fine now because I'm not allowed to drink anymore. So we're all, you know, it's not like I could really do anything. Marked safe from drinking. Yes, I'm definitely marked safe from drinking. I will not be so intoxicated that I die. That is for sure. Having a little bit of technical difficulties here with Joe's mic. Apparently he's been muted for the last few laps or been away.
Oh, battle for the lead, guys. Nick King down to the bottom of the racetrack now, side by side, trying to make a move on Jordan Sailors. Sailors working up against the outside line. The 9 machine, first stint, we saw him run away from it early. Looked like he's trying to back up the pace a little bit, and it looks like it's working out for him. Nick King, now your race leader here at Charlotte.
Nick King out in front. I think my mic's working now. Can you guys hear me okay? Excellent. Very good. Out in front now. There's a few things that have been going on now here as some of the guys have been cycling around. I was watching Jose Medina cycle backwards, unfortunately, a little bit through the field. A couple of cars there. But now up in the front, we have a battle for second.
And I think that battle's gone as quick as it started. Justin Levine on those saved tires going to get past the 55 machine here of Jordan Sailor. Sailor's up there against the outside line. He's been charging hard since they dropped the flag here to start the second stage. And you're seeing where it's really starting to come back and kind of bite him in the tail as he's slipping into the clutches now of Joseph Causey as Johan Seminario moves by. 56 machine back up to third. And
Levine down to the inside of King. Levine's going to take the race lead. Coming down to turn 3. He had a good run out of turn 2. And Levine just fired it down into the corner. Coming out of turn 4, King with the better run off the exit. Didn't look like he had much going for him on the entry of the corner, but he saved it all for the exit of turn number 4. Able to take the race lead back away from Levine. But we're just yo-yoing it back and forth. And there's a lap car in the way of Justin Levine. He's going to have to yield here through 1 and 2. He doesn't quite yield. He gets a little sideways. He's going to throw a block on his teammate. PB Henry on the bottom of the racetrack with that wounded race car. Levine had to go up to the top and just about screwed it all up. Would have been a rough end for another championship contender. PB did nothing wrong, by the way. Levine tried to get a little too aggressive to take that lead before Johan could get to his outside. And I got to say, again, got to feel terrible for PB Henry. I mean, what could have been for him tonight. I imagine he's got a decent piece under him tonight for the championship, but just was not able to use it. Levine finding a hole that I didn't think was there. Able to get to the outside of King. Coming down into turn 3. What a move from Justin Levine to get there. And he's going to power by on the outside with a huge run off the corner.
Levine with a huge power move. Going to take the position out of turn 4. Now Levine back up to the race lead. Here comes Johan Seminario following suit. And it's only be a matter of time here for the 56 machine gets by. Nick King trying to make something happen on the inside line, but just does not have the tire longevity that he needs to keep up with these one sim machines up here at the front.
And these one sim guys have got things pretty well locked up right now as the battle for the first, second, and third positions have ironed out, and we are on lap 87 right now. Remember, we're going to, I believe, lap 120 to end the second stage here before we start kicking things off for stage 3. So we got a little ways to go, but it's not gonna feel too far. Trust me, it's gonna fly by.
As you saw there, the 55 machine of Sailors diving it down pit road to get 4 fresh tires and some Sunoco fuel to carry him through the end half of this stage. But now the battle is staging again between Seminario and Levine. This time Levine with the advantage, but Seminario trying to charge deep to get to the back bumper of that one machine to get those precious playoff spots.
Johan hounding Levine for the race lead again, but you got to think we're coming up to those green flag pit stops. Levine getting a little squirrely on the exit. Johan looking now down to the inside, trying to take the lead away from his teammate beforehand. Lap car just about in the way there, but they're able to squeeze through, fuge up the racetrack a little bit, but Johan and Levine able to get around the outside. Johan a little skatey on the exit of 4. But both these guys still side by side for the race lead, the exact opposite of what we saw at the end of stage number 1.
Johan Seminario now to the bottom of the track, trying to make a move on Justin Levine. Levine fighting back hard on the outside line. Levine, huge bobble through 1 and 2. Just about loses the back end of the Mac Tools machine. Now they're side by side on the back stretch with Fuge trying to force it 3 wide all the way down to the bottom.
Did Fuge just come out of the pits? Is that why he was so slow coming off of turn 2? It must have been, because he just flew by your 2 leaders like they were sitting still. Levine, Seminario still going at it. Huge side draft down the front straightaway. Catching back up to the back bumper of the 22, and this has thrown a huge wrench into the battle for the lead with Fuge being on new tires. And your 2 leaders just trying to do everything they can to dodge their air.
Levine into the fence and back off of the wall into the side of Seminario. They both keep it under him, but that could have been a huge moment coming down to 3.
Side by side still. It's any man's guilt right at the line. It's going to be the number 1 of Justin Levine just for that lap. We're going to see what happens here.
Seminario slides up. Seminario slides up, almost gets into the quarter pound. Levine has to crack the throttle. He's going to lose a whole bunch of momentum and a whole bunch of time here down the back straightaway. Going to give a big advantage to the 1 of Levine. And here comes Joseph Causey looming in the mirror for Seminario. And he's about to work his way up to the back bumper of the 56 machine here in the next handful of laps, because it looks like the handle may be starting to fade on the 56 machine.
And who cracks first? Who comes down pit road deciding that they need to take the tires earlier? We saw that it worked out for the driver that came down first last time, right? Johan came down first, was able to hang on to the race lead, even though Levine was a little bit quicker on the new tires. And it looks like Johan might be coming down pit road this time, a little slow through the center of the corner. And yep, he is coming down on the bottom. Your second place runner, Johan Seminario, coming down pit road. He wants to be the first one to get the fresh tires on.
Here's the question. Does he get the tires? Does he try and save a set for later on?
He's taking the tires. He needs the points. You just have to say, in their scenario, you're just hoping this race runs green the entire way in stage 3, so you don't have to burn an extra set. He is absolutely going to come down here and take 4 tires. I would be shocked at this point if he doesn't. He needs those points as much as anybody else in the field other than Levine. And here comes Justin. Tight call with his teammate there of Joseph Causey as he comes down pit road. Levine only going to get the 1 lap advantage on the tires this time, but with him only staying out 1 extra lap this time instead of 2 like he did the last time around, maybe, potentially, he actually hangs on to the position over Seminario. I got to imagine that's what Levine is thinking as he comes down pit road, watching him stop in his box, waiting to see the right sides going up on that number 1. Going to wait for the pit crew to go around to the left side, make sure that this is a 4-tire pit stop for Justin Levine, and it is going to be 4 tires and fuel for the driver of the number 1. I'm going to pay attention to him as Joseph Causey comes down pit road himself. Looking at Levine coming out of pit road. He's down on the apron. And I don't see Johan too close. Johan's trying to get there. But he might just be a little bit too far back. Levine coming off the corner. He's going to maybe come up the racetrack right in front of Johan. No, Johan's going to go by in the middle lane. Levine not quite up to speed. So Johan going to go through to the provisional race lead as long as a caution flag is not flying.
Here he comes out of the pits. Oh, nope. Eyes still on Johan here briefly. We got some people coming out of the pits, though, so watch out for some merging traffic. That's the 88 right there. Kazi's got to make his way up onto the field, but Seminario making moves.
A Seminario, but with a mirror full of Justin Levine here as we take lap 98. And that one car on just ever so slightly fresher Goodyears, that could be a huge difference maker here. You see Levine starting to drop to the back bumper down the back straightaway of Johan Seminario. Really starting to eat into that lead. Now they're about to be bumper to bumper into 3 and 4. A little bit of a bobble out of the 56 machine of Seminario. Going to wash up the track ever so slightly, but Levine still staying tucked in on that rear bumper.
Still waiting for this battle here, for what could be the battle for the lead, to completely heat up. Levine all over the back bumper of Seminario, but not quite willing to make the move just yet. 23 laps to go in the stage. Both these guys still a lap down as we're waiting for a few more cars to come down pit road. Tight with Dakota Jorgensen on older tires coming off of turn 4. But as we wait for the rest of the field to cycle through on their green flag pit stops, we're going to go ahead and take another step aside. When we come back, we're going to take you to the end of stage number 2.
For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need: Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Are you looking to add to your diecast collection? Well, visit GoatRacingDiecast.com. Explore one of the largest collections available, with the options for pre-orders, new inventory, and the GOAT's personal collection for over 25 years. There's an option for every level of hobbyist. Ship direct. Personal custom diecasts are available. Shop the GOAT Racing merch store. And if you're a driver, apply for a sponsorship today. Turn your hobby into a passion and head on over and shop GoatRacingDiecast.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a iRace or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the Spartan Masters Series presented by Chasity Tucker Realtor. And, well, look at what we have here. Justin Levine in the middle of stage number 2 after the pit stops. 1 lap, fresher tires. Then his teammate was able to take the lead away from his teammate. And it was not as much of a battle as what we saw at the end of stage number 1. Was able to get to the outside of the 56. And the yellow flag is out from Kaylin Mitchell stopping on the back straightaway.
And what happened there?
I think
Well,
he
let's
thought
see.
he was far enough off the racetrack to not bring out the yellow. He has some pretty heavy damage to the front end. I think he was calling it quits, but he did not pick the right place to call it quits. I can tell you that.
Yeah, some of these newer tracks, the track surface is extended onto the apron and been around for a while. It's pretty difficult to remember that because 90% of the tracks on the iRacing service, it'll throw it.
Oof.
Or won't throw it.
That's not a good look for Kaylin getting down there and stopping on the racetrack. Obviously, he thought he was doing the right thing, but man, if he just took it, half a racetrack more and pulled it down pit road, we would have avoided the caution flag.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to set up a finish here to stage 2, though. And I mentioned earlier, talking about the tire situation, Kyle Westwood able to stay on the lead lap after taking a set of tires here. He'll obviously, I imagine, not take another set during this yellow flag. I think he's going to be saving that for stage number 3. Well, I say that, and he's coming down pit road. So I really hope Westwood does not take a set of tires here. That would be crazy. Nah. See Westwood coming down to the pit box. He overshot it a little bit, so he has to back up. And I don't see the right side tires. Fuel. Yeah, I was about to say, you better just, it's just a fuel only for Westwood. I was a little worried there that he was going to be taking tires, but no, Westwood deciding smartly just to take gas. So he's keeping that extra set of tires in the bank for a little bit later. But like I said, he stayed on the lead lap. He was at the back anyway, so, might as well come down, top it off on gas. Not a bad call from Westwood.
Yeah, a little fuel, maybe a little adjustment thrown in there to kind of help with some of the problem ends of that car at this stage in the run. As we see Levine trying to be swallowed by the iRacing pace truck. My immersion is completely ruined. I don't know about you guys at home.
This is supposed to be a simulation. I don't know what they're talking about.
Look, I can say I am so happy that the pace vehicles on iRacing are not a solid object, because on R Factor, they are. And if you don't pay attention where that pace car is coming from an R Factor, you will get shot into the catch fence. Because there ain't nothing stopping that. It's like the train on GTA 5.
Where it goes, you do not go.
Sweet. Somebody take a screenshot there. That is what a Team Conti suspension looks like close up.
That's proprietary information, young man.
Look, somebody get the notepad.
Take some dimensions.
Measure the shocks.
Field doubling up through turns 1 and 2 here. Levine, your race leader, picking the inside of the racetrack, and I have 11 laps to go in stage number 2. Whenever we get back to racing here, gonna be a hard-fought battle between Levine, Johan, Joseph Kazi, a couple of these other guys up towards the top 5. The tire strategy a little bit all over the place, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how this plays out on the restart. Still double file coming off of turn number 4. iRacing pace truck pulling off of the racetrack. Justin Levine Joseph Kazi there on the inside row, riding on board with Kazi coming up to the restart zone. And Johan did not get the jump that he wanted. That's going to be huge for the 56. Every point matters so much for him and Levine. Losing his spot this early is going to be tough. One car almost on the apron, a little bit further back, 3 wide on the restart. As Vincent able to pick up a couple spots, coming down into turn 1. And how about Kevin Zosiak up in the 6th place position? A couple of these guys on newer tires here through the field, even if it's only by a couple laps. Over your couple of leaders, can anybody run down Levine, Kazi, and Seminario up at the front? And Seminario is ripping the fence 3 and 4.
Also, Jordan Saylor's a little bit further in the pack right now, charging his way through, though. He's been 3 wide both sets of corners since the restart. Now making a pass here a little bit further back. I lost sight of where he was, but I think pace there got me,
doing
guys.
a great job back there. He moved up about 4 or 5 positions in 1 lap.
Yeah, Sailors, I believe, opting to take 4 tires and fuel on that last caution. So definitely making a late charge here in the stage to try and get up there and get a couple stage points. But
oh, one spinner across the
we got one
racetrack.
around.
Kevin Zosiak through the infield grass, back up across the track. Somehow, everybody able to avoid him in relatively minor contact for the 15. All things considered, that could have been a whole heck of a lot bigger.
Let's go back in time and see what happened there.
Jorgensen down on the inside, coming off of turn number 4. Both these guys side by side down the front straightaway. I think Zosiak just pinched him a little bit too heavily. Jorgensen, you know, he had a couple inches, maybe a foot or 2 down to the inside, but I think Zosiak just pinched him a little bit too far down in that first dog leg, and they ended up coming together.
that wasn't all that minor contact, though, for Zosiak. Watch the steering wheel after he connects with the outside wall. See the spin here, then along for the ride, and just huge tank slap. Watch right here. You saw where straight center was for him earlier.
He's just spinning the tires. He's fine.
No. I'm on board with him right now on the back straightaway too. That's
he looks fine on the replay.
Sitting at. He was looking pretty haggard to me on the back straightaway a little bit ago. Yeah,
our replay. I don't know. You might be watching something. I don't know what you're watching.
I'm entirely wrong. I guess I'm entirely wrong, but that thing was looking weird for me for a minute.
I was like, what the hell are you watching now?
Turn your monitor back right side up.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, guys. It appears I was tilting my head to the left.
That's what I was saying.
Rookie mistake.
Just like my grandpappy always told me.
Kyle Gerlach getting a lap back here. That's going to put him on the lead lap after that lap 1 melee that he found himself in. Through no faults of his own, but he lost a ton of time, got a little bit of damage. I think he's gotten that thing fixed up. And back on the lead lap, but unfortunately with him being, I believe it was 18 points off of Joseph Kazi coming into this race. And Kazi scoring 8 stage points in stage 1, the pole bonus, lap lead bonus, and potentially 9 points here in stage 2. It's going to be nearly impossible for Gerlach to make that up through stage number 3. So a little bit too late for Gerlach to actually kind of benefit off of the caution. So nonetheless, tough break for both him and PB Henry earlier through that lap 1 scramble that we ended up having. But nonetheless, it kind of becomes a three-horse race with Levine, Kazi, and Seminario for the championship. And Kazi doing just enough, right? Running in 2nd to 4th the entire race. Should be just enough for him to clinch the championship as long as nothing crazy happens.
That Kenseth, am I right?
It looks like it. He's acting like it. Just doing enough.
He's even painted like it.
Yeah. Looks just like it.
It's going to be interesting to see what he does here, though, firing off on the outside of the front row. So we haven't seen him
under yellow.
Yeah, I think Seminario's trying to roll those fenders off a little bit, try to get any advantage he can over the 88.
I think it's mostly Kazi. I think he's trying to get in the head of Levine and Seminario here. He's giving a little door check down the front straightaway. Gave it to both of them. So the championship leader, you know, he's just going to give him a little door saying, hey, yeah, you're scoring a lot of points, but I'm scoring just enough to keep this championship over you. So it might be a little bit too little, too late for Justin and Johan. But hey, still 125 laps to go in this thing. And well, we kind of know Kazi is a checkers or records kind of guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if I saw that 88 going around at some point towards the end of this thing.
I also would be willing to bet money too that Kazi's probably down there in the one sim radio channel right now, laughing his head off and talking all the smack he can possibly get out of his mouth before we go back to green.
I was just reflecting on how Sheldon, this is very much like in some ways it reminds me of what happened last night, where the leaders mysteriously get picked off one by one in mysterious circumstances that was no fault of their own, so to speak, during the course of the race.
Don't talk that evil on these guys. We've already got two. Look, we've already got two of them out of contention here. So
I want to see mayhem. I want to see chaos. I wouldn't be upset if Kazi just turned hard left against Levine right here. Nonetheless, we're going to come up to the restart. 5 laps to go in stage number 2, and Kazi with a much better restart than Johan had on the last one. Going to be able to hang on to that second place spot. Fall right in the tire tracks of Levine. And Kazi did pit later than both of these guys, so he's got the newest tires out of the front 3. Could he potentially extend that championship lead? Oh, maybe not. Going wide in turn 2. Johan trying to get to the inside and side draft him back.
Don Seminario down to the inside into 3. Gonna get the spot on Kazi here. No, Kazi gonna fight back hard on the outside line. Get a little bit of bobble, though, into the entry to 3. Gonna lose a little bit of momentum, but he's gonna stay right to the quarter panel and use a little bit of side draft to pull him right back up here. Kazi gonna lead the second spot into 1 and 2, but Seminario using the shorter distance around the track to get the advantage. Seminario up to P2, and he's gonna clear Kazi out of 2 onto the backstretch.
Not a bad place to be right now. The number 12 machine, who I think is actually, that's Jarrett Feltman on the inside there.
That is Nick King on the inside in the number 9.
Oh, Nick King, that's a 9. Excuse me. I have my trading paints are messed up. I'm sorry about that, boys. That's Nick King in the 9.
And, well, I'm going to tell you right now, but the 2 leaders are huge Nick King fans right now. They want to see Kazi finish as far back as possible. Seminario just about ruins his own race, almost finds the fence in turn 2. He's going to give up a ton of time to Levine and bring both Nick King and Kazi into the battle for second as they're still side by side through 3 and 4. King trying to do everything he can to get this 3rd place spot away from Kazi, but not quite able to do it through 4 and across the stripe. 2 laps to go in stage number 2.
Well, if Johan was the one looking for the fence out of turn 2 the last lap, Kazi certainly was the one to find it, as you see him now losing a little bit of momentum here. Nick King getting the advantage on the inside line. If you're Kazi right now, what you got to think about is, you know, you've seen that 9 car go up to the front and charge to the lead and fall off in 5 or 10 laps. You got to kind of just roll it back a little bit, take 10% off the top. Let that 9 car go. Go up there, disturb those leaders.
No, there's 1 lap left in stage 2 and needs all the points he can possibly get. What are you talking about?
Oh my lord, I didn't realize we were that late in. Good God.
King's
All right,
gonna
we're
push him
all
up the
falling apart
racetrack
here.
through 1 and 2. Last lap of stage number 2. Kazi needs this point, wants this point more than just about anybody on the racetrack. He's gonna get a push from his teammate of Reshaper down into 3, looking like he's gonna solidify that 3rd place spot. And Justin Levine is going to solidify the race lead coming off of turn 4. Johan squeezes his teammate. A door check. Kazi almost gets the point. Not quite. Huge contact between the 2 coming across the line. Johan beats him by 0.003 of a second to get the 9 stage points to Kazi's 8.
I wonder how many times Johan's going to get door checked coming to the checkered flag here this afternoon. You know he's got to be starting to get he's got to be getting pretty hot around the helmet at this point.
I bet you he's screaming at Joseph Kazi right now.
And Joseph is probably laughing.
You're probably laughing, yeah. What do you think you were doing?
What do you mean, man? You came up into me.
That is kind of what he sounds like.
I didn't do nothing. You just came up into me.
He is from
Accurate.
middle of nowhere, Alabama, so I can tell you right now from experience that is exactly what he sounds like. Very low IQ individual, but the points leader. So I guess IQ does not equate to racing skill.
The thing that gets me is he always sounds like he just got done running a mile. We all damn well know that he didn't.
Okay. He's a veteran, and you're.
Yeah, do him like that. Damn.
Back in his day, he could have ran circles around you. I can promise you that, Sheldon.
He could certainly still run him today. I will try and pretend like that ain't the case.
But again, he was in the military, so low IQ individual.
Which branch?
I have no idea.
These are bold statements to be making Memorial Day week, by the way, as we look at all the beautiful patriotic paint schemes here at Charlotte Motor
Well,
Speedway.
he's got a bunch of kids too, and typically whenever you pop out like 7 or 8 of them, then typically that's low IQ too. So, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing as much shade as possible. I don't really know what's going on, and I'm totally making up stuff off the top of my head. So if you happen to be in the military or popping out a bunch of babies, just know I don't mean it. I don't mean it. It's just all in fun and games. We're doing.
Don't even need to give him the shovel, Sheldon. He's just digging the hole all by himself.
Well, it's been great covering SSRL. Can't wait to see us covering it next season.
Yeah, like I said, God's been trying to take me out. I dodged the tornadoes. I got the best version of cancer possible for treatment, and I was just like, you know what, God, I'm tired of you trying to do it. I'm gonna do it myself. I'll bury my own grave, or I'll dig my
I'll
own.
dig it.
And-
Give me the shovel.
And not just taking himself down, he's taking the entirety of his friend group down with him.
That's how you do it, buddy. That's how you do it.
Class act. Go big or go home.
Not the entirety, just Kazi.
And grid vision.
Oh yeah,
no,
true.
Just
Yeah.
cause
Yeah.
you good vision.
Yeah, so Austin Edstrom's views do not represent how grid vision feels as a whole. We love everybody.
Indeed.
And thank you to all of our veterans and parents. Parents. Thank you to those too.
Hey. I'll have that group.
Yeah, me too.
I just have to throw the shade anytime that I have the opportunity. I will come up with anything to throw shade, even if it is completely infactual.
Fair enough. You got to keep in practice.
You're definitely the Jeremy Clarkson of this situation, aren't you, Edstrom?
Hey man, whatever gets the views, right? Whatever gets the bad publicity is good publicity.
I guess that would make me
you
Hammond.
Clarkson.
I guess
Oh,
that
that
would
makes
make
me
me Hammond, wouldn't it?
I am definitely James May.
Oh, you're Captain Slow for sure over
I
here.
am definitely James May in this crew.
God bless.
Cheese.
Yeah, I got a bit of Hammond isms in me.
Oh, Hammond's great. But I'm happy to be Captain Slow. Give me
I
the luxury
crash.
cars.
I crash enough cars on here to be considered Hammond. Oh, Edstrom's definitely going to punch you. Edstrom is going to punch the producer.
Andy, the producer.
Probably wouldn't hurt that bad. I don't know. I got knuckly knuckles, so maybe just the bone. Just the bone gets you pretty good.
Just
not much
make sure
force
there's
behind
always. Just make sure there's always a hot meal waiting at the end of a shoot day, and you won't get punched in the face.
It was the quickest
As we
caution
come-
ever.
Yeah, as we come off of turn number 4, I'm going to go ahead and say it. My make-a-wish is for Kazi to wreck out of this race and us get a good race for the championship. Nonetheless, we're coming down to the restart zone. Chris Vinson, Jarrett Feltman coming back to the green flag. Oh, Feltman way loose. Could not quite get through the gears, and that's going to hurt Kazi big time. Going to lose him a couple spots on the inside of the racetrack. Johan now trying to take that spot from him. Kazi trying to find the middle through 1 and 2.
That wish almost came true real quick now, didn't it, buddy?
Could you imagine?
That
That was
was-
the best commentator curse ever.
Instant gratification. Wow.
That would be in the not top 10. But right now, diving to the inside, Chris Vinson with a huge head of steam, trying to get to the door of Justin Levine, but Levine on defense, gonna rock that middle lane. And Levine's gonna hold on to the position here. Levine, your race leader. Nope, never mind. He passed Vincent. I was laughing so hard at Kazi almost getting killed.
That's all right.
thing
Behind
to
him,
laugh
Seminario's holding on to 3rd, and behind him, it looks like there's Kazi in 4th.
Kazi's still not dead in that number 88, but we just know it's a matter of time. Chris Vinson sitting in the 2nd place position, hanging with the race leaders here. Throwing a little
down to
bit
the
of
bottom.
a block there, shading down to the bottom. Johan with a big move down to the inside of Vinson, trying to keep Levine within touching distance here as they funnel down into turn number 1, side by side for 2nd place. Vinson up the racetrack. Johan flowing through, not quite clear coming off of turn 2.
Oh, he's gonna make
almost a little
himself
bit of
clear, though.
contact. And he's trying everything
Yeah.
he can as we come down to turn 3. Johan's going to fire it down into the bottom of the corner, but Vinson drives it in just as deep on the top. And he's going to keep that momentum, ripping it around the outside, almost in the fence for Vinson, but still side by side for 2nd.
33 machine up on the top line right now, trying to find some kind of momentum to pull him back past the 56 machine. Still want to have a stab at the lead here as we get into the late stages of this race. But Seminario doing such a good job working the bottom lane, but we saw it earlier. It's being stuck on that inside lane. You burn the tires off so fast. I mean, if you're Seminario, do you really want to take this fight right now?
I'm watching the 33, and I got to say that he's making his presence known on the outside extremely well. He's the only one out there right now, but he's got a buffer zone around him. He's not getting too much of a squeeze. He's getting a little bit of respect out there. It's not side drafting him into oblivion. It's just enough, and he is staying out there, Chris Vincent, in the battle for second.
Seminario trying to stop the bleeding on those tires. Going to fall back in line behind Vincent for the time being. Going to try and throw a block on Kazi. Kazi now going up to the top of the track here to try and set up for an undercut maybe on the 56 machine of Seminario, but not able to get the momentum here just yet. Everybody going to tuck back in line as we go back into 1 and 2.
Oh, Johan right on the back bumper.
Never mind.
Vincent coming down to the corner. Kazi now ripping it around the outside, trying to take third place away from Seminario. Not willing to save the tires as much as Johan, and he's going to maybe go down to second place too. He's still the top side of Vincent. And we've seen the top side is the fast side here whenever the tires are new, but you do wear them out just a little bit more. Tight between the three of them coming off of turn 4. Kazi's going to be able to take second place. Johan right behind him funnels to third.
Now Kazi, is he going to try and make a charge for the lead on Justin Levine right now? At the moment, staying in tow, trying to find that run to pull him down the back straightaway to maybe get that outside line to shotgun him around for the lead. As you see, the 92 of Westwood now working his way in here, finally on fresh tires, giving a huge shot to the back of the 56 Seminario. Westwood hungry to come out here and get a win.
Eyes up at the front, things have started to string out a little bit, although we have seen those pockets of excitement that pop up every other lap or so. These guys like to seem to find positions where they can get into those 2 wide spots, really challenge each other. Nick King actually just moved up to 6th place, back up. He's up 3 positions right now. We're looking from Kyle Westwood's perspective right now, riding along as he keeps eyes on Johan Seminario. Kyle Westwood up 15 positions, still one of the hardest chargers on the evening so far.
With the lead, Levine bobbled a little bit coming out turn 4, trying to throw a block on Kazi, but Kazi sends it around the outside. Now they're side by side coming through 1 and 2, and he's pulling Kyle Westwood with him on the outside lane.
Kazi deciding that he doesn't just want to ride in that 3rd place spot and take the easy championship win. He wants to go for the race win as well as the championship, ripping it around the outside of his teammate. Justin Levine down on the bottom. Better run through the center of the corner, but Kazi with the momentum on the exit, going to be able to just inch ahead at the stripe. Lead that lap, but not clear of Levine just yet as Levine dives back down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2. Kazi still ripping the outside, and like you said, here comes Kyle Westwood. He's got that extra set of tires for later in the race, and right now he's using the ones that he's got all the way towards the front of the field, and now side by side for second.
As of Kazi, now your race leader through 3 and 4. Levine still trying to find the inside line. Westwood trying to figure out some kind of way to put himself into the picture. Would not be surprised if we saw that 92 machine jump to the outside line or shoot the middle to try and make it 3. But right now, working with the 88 machine of Kazi, tapering up to the top of the track a little bit more to keep the momentum up, keep the RPMs in that motor. And trying to give a big push here, and he gives him a big shot down the back straightaway. Tandem drafting at Charlotte's going to push Joseph Kazi to the race lead over Justin Levine.
Joseph Kazi says, thank you very much, Kyle Westwood. I will take that lead in a heartbeat. Kazi, though, now in the clean air, but through the front straightaway, losing a bit of time. Didn't quite get the run that he needed, and they're firmly in the draft behind. Levine all over the back bumper, just about tapping the back bumper, maybe tapping it through 1 and 2. Sliding Kazi up the racetrack, 3 wide for the lead. Contact between 2 of the championship contenders. Kazi now sideways down the back straightaway, able to save it, and that was almost a race ender for Kazi.
What a save from Joseph Kazi. Was able to keep it straight, was able to avoid the yellow. We're still going. Didn't lose too many places either in the process.
It looks like he might have a slight crease of damage, but not enough to make a difference. If he wins this championship, that right there is the move. That is the save that kept that dream alive as we look at what happened here.
Zodiac has just absolutely pounded the inside wall. I think it was Zodiac. Kevin Zodiac
little shot from Levine, and 3 wide right in the middle. Levine slides up the track a little bit, gets into Kazi. Kazi gets up into Westwood, and kind of a ping pong effect for Kazi, but incredible job for both of these drivers to save it. As
Zodiac
caution is on
has
the
just
speedway.
brought out the yellow flag. Yeah, coming out of turn 2. That's weird.
That
I
looks.
don't even know.
I know that all too well. That looks like a wheel came unplugged.
A mechanical.
We could
Meat
see the
space
onboard.
mechanical.
So when they jerk hard left
Oh yeah,
like
you're
that.
100% right. You are 100% right.
Yep. Right here, you see the wheel. Got motion in it. Comes out of the corner here. And dead snap to the left.
And never released. Never released.
Wow,
Never released. That is a
straight to
telltale
hell.
sign of a wheel failure. And did you see how close that was to taking out Kazi with it?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kazi is sweating right now.
Ooh,
Oh,
a little bit of
Levine and
fake in there
Seminario.
from Justin. That was a little tight, bringing a lot of cars down pit road with him.
Yeah, the whole field just about coming down pit road. Doesn't look like we have any drivers opting to stay out. I'll tell you what, this caution is just what Kazi wanted, because I know he needed the chance to rekindle his thoughts after everything that just happened the last 2 laps.
We have a few cars that might still be out there. I think Chad Kibbe is still out there. Looks like Semi Hero and Corey Saucier are still out there, maybe.
While we re-rack them and restack them, we're going to go ahead and go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have the restart here in stage 3.
Goat Racing Diecast and the sponsor of the Warrior League Goat Racing Diecast 150 and the Monster Mile. And now for the famous words of motorsports, hey Gabby. Driver, start, go, and go!
Welcome back to the Spartan Master Series from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the championship race presented by Chasity, Tucker, Realtor. Looking at the front of the field, Nick King down to the inside. He's going to be your race leader on this restart. He stayed out under that last caution. Levine on the outside starting in second. Johan third, Reshafer fourth, and Joseph Kazi, after 2 super near misses, is riding in the 5th place position. You got to think the championship leader is cleaning up his underwear or getting a change of them under this caution.
He certainly touched cloth on that situation, but now he's got a chance to re-rack him, restack him, calm down a little bit, catch his breath, focus back on the big picture here. Plenty of laps to go. Just gonna, I mean, heck, we're going green with 100 laps straight.
iRacing Pace Truck pulling off of turn number 4 down to pit road once again. Nick King, Justin Levine on the front row. Coming up to the restart, Nick King to the gas and to the green flag. Did not get a good jump there. Did not get through the gears well. Levine, a better job through the gears on the outside. Going to be even with King, coming down to 1. And on the newer tires, Levine trying to power by on the outside.
Levine working the outside lane down the back stretch, side by side. Nick King down to the bottom. A little bit of help from the 56 machine of Seminario is going to push Levine out to the front here into 3 and 4. Now Seminario trying to take the fight to the 9 as well, but not able to make anything happen right now as the 9 fights back strong in the inside lane. At the line, it's going to be Nick King for lap 141.
Sorry, I said new tires. These guys took fuel only coming down pit road there at the front of the field. So Justin, Johan, Kazi not taking a set there, not willing to burn one. The caution coming out at a good time for these guys just for refuel, and they stop one car in the wall. I think that's Corey Saucier a little bit further back. having a bit of a moment out of turn 2. That number 18.
See if we can get that moment. Maybe didn't cause a yellow. So whatever moment did occur, it was a very quick one there.
Also a little bit further in the pack, Jose Medina kind of bleeding through spots here, trying to get down to the inside line, but every time he goes to get that car down to the bottom lane, there's another car there, kind of stuck in that conveyor belt situation that we'd normally see at a track like Martinsville. But now he's got a little bit of help from Kyle Westwood to push him right in front of the 3 machine of Besaw. Westwood working all the way up against the top line, trying to find a way by. Pretty sure Westwood took tires on that last pit stop.
Comes Chris Benson on the outside at 33. I think that he might have taken tires with how fast he's just ripping through the field. Vincent all over the back bumper of Levine, coming across the stripe, and I think he's going to take this race lead with absolute ease. Flying by on the outside there. Chris Benson taking it, and we're about to have a big shuffle up in the running order because Jarrett Feltman's coming on newer stuff too.
Yeah, and Jarrett Feltman, one to always keep your eyes on. If there's one thing I've noticed out of him all season long, whether it's NIS or any one of the multiple leagues that he runs, that 12 machine is always the first guy to want to go where nobody else is going, and somehow is able to find pace and hold on to a majority of his tire life in the process.
You were right about Chris Vincent taking tires as well with the 14.65 pit time for his last pit. I guarantee you he took some tires.
Now Feltman working the outside lane down the back straightaway, going to get by the 1 machine of Justin Levine. Levine going to fight back hard on the inside, though, trying to keep this car alive as best he can on the older tires, but at some point he's going to reach that plateau and it's going to be difficult. But right now, not worrying about it.
And here comes another guy a little bit further back that we knew was going to take tires on that pit stop. Kyle Westwood back in the top 5 in the 4th place position. Man, 3 of our top 4 finding the wall out of turn number 2, but Westwood, he still has an extra set of tires in the bank compared to Vincent and Feltman up in the front 2 positions, and he took tires under this pit stop. So Westwood might be in prime position to win this race. He's got the same amount of tires behind pit wall as Levine, Seminario, Kazi, all the guys that have been running in the front. But now on equal footing with Vincent and Feltman as well. Westwood around the outside, gonna take second.
Oh, and just about loses it coming out of turn 2 with a quick snap to save it. Back end kind of coming around on the 9-2. That just goes to show how hard he is charging right now to try and take away this lead from Feltman.
Watching a few other names make some moves right now. There's a battle for 5th going on between Seminario and Besaw, actually. Robert Besaw has made his way up. Rob Besaw was the 5th, 6th. He's up 16 positions, trying to battle it out right now with Johan Seminario to see who can take away that last spot in the top 5.
Down the back straightaway, the 19 machine of Westwood has gotten to the outside of the 12 of Feltman. A little bit of side draft down the back straightaway, but with ease, Westwood looks like he's going to take the spot here through the quad oval. And Kyle Westwood, your race leader, especially after a difficult night like last night, this has got to be just the medicine he's been looking for.
And he just doesn't have to save the tires in the same vein that Feltman and Vincent do, right? They've got the newer tires, so they can use them a little bit to get up to the front of the field, get the track position, but then they still got to hang on to them for a long green flag run. But Westwood has the extra set compared to those guys and is using them perfectly. What a strategy call from Westwood. You had asked me earlier, how nervous are you during that situation? And I said, not really too much. And this is why right here, Westwood, the big time benefactor out of that strategy call.
Right now we have a question in the chat about what the championship standings are currently. Don't have the exact numbers off the top of head right now, but I can tell you based on the way they've been running and finishing through the stages, Joseph Kazi is still your race leader over Justin Levine and Johan Seminario. Johan and Justin at this point need a big mistake out of Joseph Kazi to win this thing because they are docked 20 points for their I rating. So they're still fighting and clawing for everything that they can get right now, and Kazi has done a tremendous job all night mirroring them. All Kazi has to do now is just make sure that there isn't too many positions between him and those other two, and kind of just limp his way back here to take home the gold.
There's a pretty good chunk of positions between them right now, though. Kazi running the worst that he's ran all night, back in the 11th place spot. If the race ended right now, Levine might just nick him for the championship standing, or for the championship. Side by side for the race lead again, though. Westwood starting to struggle a little bit. Feltman down to his inside.
Westwood going to pull an advantage on the back straightaway, but here comes Feltman with a deep dive down into 3.
Ooh, close. In live timing, or at least my machine says that Feltman has the lead right now.
Yep, Feltman has the lead, but yeah, a little bit of a bumper down the front straightaway opens the door back up for Westwood to take it back. Westwood doing a good job with a crossover through 1 and 2. Now Westwood, your race leader, working on the back straightaway, but here comes Feltman winding it up and diving it down to the bottom.
Westwood able to get the lead back after he lost it for a moment. Thought that once he lost it, it was going to be tough to get it back, but man, he took it right back away from Jarrett Feltman. Feltman, though, not willing to give it up just yet, still down to the inside of the racetrack. A couple more cars with the newer tires have started to come through. The rest of the field, Dave Fuge, Chris Vinson in the top 4. Justin Levine and Johan Seminario back in 5th and 6th. Robert Visaw Jr., though, looking to take a spot away from Seminario here, and he's going to do it through the middle of 3 and 4. Those tires are paying off good for a few of these guys, while Seminario and Levine are starting to falter.
Westwood now to the bottom of Feltman into turn 1. That's it, but these guys are just going to keep crossing each other over corner after corner, and they're going to be killing these tires, and Fuge is going to be sitting in the catbird seat here with an opportunity to run away with this lead once these guys start to burn it down. Also the 9 machine out here. Also the 9 machine of Nick King diving it down pit road here.
Let's see what he does. Get himself some fuel and some gas. Or even more, it looks like. He might be serving a penalty.
And that is a difficult hole to draw yourself out of. I imagine if you're serving a penalty, probably a speeding on pit entry.
I was about to say, what could he have possibly gotten? He's still in there.
Likely be a pit road speeding penalty, because as late as we are in this, as far as we were removed from the restart, if it was a restart infraction, he would have had to serve that a lot sooner. Otherwise, they would have DQ'd him.
You talking about Westwood?
No,
sorry, I completely.
King.
I was like, he would have had to do it beforehand anyway. My
Sorry,
apologies.
I
I
was
missed you
talking
there
about
for a
Nick
second.
King.
I was like, what in the world? Either way, Feltman stretching that lead out to an 0.8 of a second gap. Vinson washing up the racetrack a little bit on Fuge. Coming out of turn number 2, tight between those two. Levine starting to come back at these guys. He's got the older tires, but he's keeping himself within the fight. So is Johan Seminario. All these guys still in that lead pack, but man, Jarrett Feltman is pulling away.
You know, this isn't much of a surprise either. You know, Feltman on a little bit fresher tires than, you know, some of these other guys that we have in the field that, you know, we expected to see up at the front. But Feltman, that's one of those drivers that you haven't really seen him have his big day yet. But that is a guy that is just as capable if he just gets the right equipment beneath him and puts a good race together. That 12 machine, I have seen really great moves out of him all season long, and I can't harp enough on the fact that this right here could be one of your upcoming stars here in the SSRL series based on just some of the crazy things I've seen him get away with and make work.
Look at this pack of cars here up at the front. Still, these guys have not settled down the entire race so far. We're at 161, well into the second half of this race, and they have not yet settled down. Justin Levine up here at the front in the 1 machine, still looking to set some distance if he can on the action behind him, but it's just been either a 2 wide or occasionally 3 wide situation since the whole race began.
Causey, ever since the contact we saw a handful of laps ago, it just seems like he is backpedaling through this field, back to the 13th spot last time at the line, trying to get the position back from the machine of, I believe, Evan Ethel. Yes, the 38 car of Evan Ethel. but locked in a heck of a fight as Ethel is using that outside line to his advantage to try and stay to the quarter panel of Causey. Causey finally going to be able to clear here for 12th place. But it seems like the race is starting to go backwards on your championship favorite here.
That's how it usually goes for my favorites, unfortunately.
Do you think Causey has some damage that he hasn't gotten to tend to from that little bit of a scuffle that we saw at a turn 2 earlier? I'm surprised at how far he's dropped off of his teammates on equal tires.
That's true.
He's fighting something. I just don't know what it is. I mean, the wheel looks straight, and he doesn't have any visible damage, so it's really hard to determine what's going on. I mean, maybe being in that situation, he might just be playing it smart though at the same time, because he tried to race there and almost threw the whole thing away unintentionally. And he saw these guys, on mixed strategies here with the tires and everything. Maybe he's just trying to cool it a little bit, just get to the finish.
Look at that sunset, though, I gotta say, guys. It's a pretty day for a race right here. Good time, good way to sun down on this championship series, too.
As we're looking now at Tim Wortman trying to take a position away from Johan Seminario. This is the battle for 5th place on track right now. Seminario working the outside lane. Wortman down there on the bottom. In a pretty cool Earnhardt Coca-Cola throwback paint scheme.
I think it's a little interesting too. I'm seeing the same thing that I saw at Atlanta between Causey and Reese Schaefer. Reese Schaefer not willing to pass his teammate. I don't know why every time I'm looking at Reese Schaefer behind Joseph Causey, he's not willing to pass him.
Oh, Seminario just about loses it. He does lose it and somehow gathers it back up coming out of turn 4. That was almost a huge moment in front of most of the field.
Just about ended Johan's championship hopes right then and right there. But hey, that slide might just do it anyway, right? He's going to be hurting compared to the rest of the competition after having that big slide coming out of turn 4 a little early here on the replay. So we're going to see a little bit more of the replay than we meant to. Oh, never mind. We're just going to do a quick little fast forward. Coming through for you. You see that back end step out. Oh, that's a big slide. That's a big save in the next gen too. That's a tough one to save.
And you see the puff of smoke coming off that right rear tire. And that's a little more aggressive than a slide than we're typically used to seeing, period. So that definitely superheated that right rear tire, and he's going to be in for a world of hurt here at the tail end of this run. He's still struggling. Look at that thing. It's yawed out like a Gen 6 car through 3 and 4.
When are we going to start seeing the pit stops? I imagine, if we pit here, you only need one more stop to make it to the end. So when do you pull the trigger? Who's going to be the first guy to come down? I almost feel like it's got to be Johan after that big slide. Look at him just fighting this thing through the middle of turn 2. Wheel turning a little bit more right through the center of that corner than it was left. Johan definitely struggling with those rears at this point.
I feel like it's going to have to be Causey. As far back as he is, if he wants to maintain position with his teammates, to be able to walk away with this championship and to pick up a couple spots, he's going to have to short pit. These guys that took tires and fuel on that last cycle, I think they're going to stay out a little bit longer to try and get all the good out of the tires they can. But if you're Causey, you got to be thinking about biting the bullet pretty early.
Reese Schaefer still will not pass his teammate. He has been behind Joseph Causey this entire time. I'm telling you, his name is Reese Schaefer, and he will not pass Joseph Causey. It doesn't matter what racetrack he's at. If he sees that 88 in front of him, he is parking it right behind him.
And that right there is a good friend to have. I know certain teammates I have in the booth with me right now have had no problem wrecking me before in the past.
I'd wreck you for 13th. I don't give a damn. I'm telling you, I would wreck you so quick coming to the line. It doesn't matter what position it's for.
Oh, you've wrecked me for 13th. Hell, you've wrecked me for 20th.
I'm sure I have, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a couple little coming together. But man, I've told a couple of the 1Sim guys this. I would love to have Reese Schaefer as a teammate. I'm telling you, there's nobody in the field that I would want to have as a teammate more than Reese Schaefer.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job trying to look out for his buddy's interests here. And, that moments like that, selfless acts like that here on this service, they don't always get repaid. But when working with the right people, they get repaid pretty quickly.
I don't know if Causey's the right people.
Causey's not the right people. We're not going to say Causey is, but
Talking
He's-
about the
he
low
is a
IQ,
people.
I bet you he doesn't even know that Reese is intentionally not passing him.
You probably don't even know Reese is out there.
Oh, God.
What does this guy want?
I believe Johan has just come down pit road, saving us from ourselves. Something different to talk about. Johan Seminario being the first one to come down pit road. Not a surprise whatsoever. Going to be a 4-tire pit stop, or at least first of the championship contenders, I should say. The 83 comes down with them. Dave Fuge came down a couple laps ago as well. So Johan coming down here, going to get the tires. How many laps do the rest of the front runners stay out? Levine still out on the racetrack. Feltman still out on the racetrack in the race lead, continuing to have that 2-second advantage over Justin Levine. Lou Christian in a side-by-side battle with Chris Vinson right here for the 3rd place position. Both those guys still out here. Vinson just about loses it. Saves it down on the apron. Heck of a save from the 33.
Causey, looks like he's going to come in this time. No, Causey's still opting to stay out on the track.
Wow.
That's a bold strategy there, Cotton.
See how it pays off. Yeah, there we go.
Justin Levine sitting there 2 seconds back from your race leader, Jared Feltman. Feltman turning on the afterburners here in the late stages to get this lead and slowly working his way out of the picture in the 1 machine. Let's look at Joseph Causey now up to the 7th position as we cycle through these pit stops. The final pit stops of the season, if I'm correct.
No, we got one more stop.
Got
We
one
got-
more?
After,
All right.
After this, we're gonna have one more for sure because we're going all the way to 240. We're at 176, so we're gonna have one more around the 200 and 205, 210, somewhere around there. 205 probably.
Causey making a very important pass here, side by side now with Westwood, the battle for 6th position, starting to heat up. Causey down to the inside with a huge push from Reese Schaefer down the front straightaway.
I mean, I'm so tired of Reese. I'm sorry. What? This is like Tyler Reddick on the back bumper of Austin Dillon at the
pass him.
Daytona race where everybody wrecked in the rain except those two. What is it? Either way, the front 2 leaders coming down, Jarrett Feltman, Justin Levine, deciding to call it quits and come down to pit road. I can't believe what I'm seeing from Reese Schaefer. I've literally never seen a better teammate in my life.
Also, look at how much time Justin Levine makes coming down pit road to the 12 machine of Feltman. Closing a 2-second gap down to just a couple of car lengths.
Pass him, Reese. Do it. I'm just kidding. He's only going to the outside because Causey's probably coming down pit road. I guarantee you.
Well,
I guarantee you that's the
100% what's
only
going on
reason
here.
he's coming. I guarantee you. I
100%.
guarantee it.
And
Yeah, there it is.
here it is.
What the hell?
Causey with the standard double brake lockup coming down pit road. As we're so accustomed to seeing out of him this year.
Levine just jumped Feltman on pit road. He was 2 seconds behind coming down into pit road, and he comes out in front of him.
That was all pit entry. He closed a second plus to Feltman coming into pit road. And he also spent two seconds less on pit road compared to Feltman too. So Levine just mastering his pit entry and pit exit.
I will tell you right now, Justin needed that. I think he needs that race win bonus point and maybe the most laps led bonus point to be able to beat Causey with where Causey's been running. Causey will probably slide to about the 15th place spot. No, it looks like he's going to actually settle in the 12th place position as he came out of pit road. Gonna have to wait for the entire cycle to cycle through, or to finish cycling through, but nonetheless, Causey not doing as much as I felt like he needed to be able to hang on to this thing. The first 2 stages look good from him, but here in stage number 3, I don't know. Has not been the best run for the driver of the 88.
I'll tell you what, I gotta give a huge tip of the hat here to PB Henry. Wrecked on the first lap. Car is still absolutely destroyed. 6 laps down, way off pace. But this man has not given up. He is still out here making laps. Staying out of the way, but he's making sure that he sees this thing to completion. And
Love
it's
it.
so difficult. It is so difficult to do that. I mean, we've all been in races where we get wrecked early and we just hit that Alt F4 button. PB Henry, quit is not in his vocabulary.
It's inspirational. I gotta say, yeah, Alt F4 would have been well within his right by most standards at this point, but he stuck it out.
And the same statement
Gerlach
goes.
too, yeah.
Yeah, the same statement goes for Gerlach too. He's back on the lead lap, way off pace. A little, the damage still there on the 75 machine, even if it isn't visible. But also, he hasn't given up a bit either. So, a lot of respect for these drivers for not throwing in the towel.
Johan Seminario now up at the front with Dave Fuge, Tim Wortman, a little ways behind them. The two of these guys out in the lead.
That right there, that's going to be the problem for Seminario as we look at the stint length. He's on 10-lap old tires already. Levine, 5 laps fresher. Feldman, 5 laps fresher. The majority of the field, 5 to 4 laps fresher over what Seminario has underneath them. He starts having that same issue with that right rear tire that we've seen all night, where he's just gotten really free at the end of these runs. It's going to topple pretty quick for him.
Ultimately, though, you got to think, that you've got that one more pit stop, so maybe he times the second pit stop to perfection with how many laps are left, or takes a a little bit of two-tire fire coming to the end of this thing to get himself a little bit more track position. There's a lot of different strategies here Seminario can play to try to get this race win, but he's got to hang on to this lead for as long as possible. 3-second gap over Justin Levine. That's what he's really got to pay attention to. That's his championship contender. Seminario just trying to make sure that he stays in front as long as he possibly can.
And if you're Kazi, you're the biggest Seminario fan in the field, aren't you? If Levine gets if Levine gets that bonus point, because Kazi, Seminario was a little bit behind Levine in points coming into this race.
By a point.
That point would be negated compared to if Levine gets that point, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Who knows? It could come down to a point. At the end of the day, though, Kazi's just got to worry about himself, right? He's got to pick up 3, 4, 5 spots to really feel safe. Him sitting here in the 11th place position, even if he's got a rear gunner, I don't know if 11th is going to be enough.
Well, the good news is he does have a blocker car behind him, so that is working in his favor. As we've seen how valuable that 97 machine of Reese Schaefer has been, just helping Kazi set up passes with a very well-timed tandem draft when needed. Look at your race leaders here. Dave Fuge Jr., an impressive run out of him. The caution came out at the optimal time for him to really throw a different strategy out the window compared to some of these other guys, pull an extra set of tires out of pit road. But he has taken that little old strategy dive here, and he's actually hammered out a pretty good running position here, sitting in second.
As the field's somewhat spread out here, we're going to wait for some of the tires to catch up, or some of the newer tires to catch up with some of the older tires. We're going to go ahead and take one more step back here on grid vision for the championship race here at Charlotte. Whenever we come back, we're going to take it to the next round at green flag pit stops.
Be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Are you looking to add to your diecast collection? Well, visit GoatRacingDiecast.com. Explore one of the largest collections available with the options for pre-orders, new inventory, and the GOAT's personal collection for over 25 years. There's an option for every level of hobbyist. Ship direct. Personal custom diecasts are available. Shop the GOAT Racing merch store. And if you're a driver, apply for a sponsorship today. Turn your hobby into a passion and head on over and shop GoatRacingDiecast.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Spartan Master Series presented by Chasity Tucker Realtor. We are in the middle of our championship race. Two of our contenders for that championship running first and second. The other one running in the 10th place position. Joseph Ghazi not having the night that he wants, but it just might be enough to hang on to his championship lead. Meanwhile, up towards the front, as we close in on our final round of green flag pit stops, Levine is closing in on the back bumper of one of his main championship contenders. Levine is going to have to make short work of Johan. This time, though, he's got much fresher tires than Johan. A little bit unlike the end of stage number one. Only 2-lap fresher tires that time. Just go around about 5 laps. Better for Levine, and he's running him down by about 2.5 tenths every lap.
Running him down is a good way to put it here. This is the last stretch he's got a chance to make this kind of a push. And right now he's taking every single inch that he can possibly get. Levine is within a stone's throw of Seminario right now, and this is going to be the battle for the finish if we have anything left to go on. There's only one more pit stop left, and if it maintains through that pit stop, we're going to see some sparks flying.
Johan's got to try to hold Justin back as long as he possibly can, but with the tire advantage, I just don't know if he's going to be able to do it. But he has got to try to get right on the door of that number one. Stay on the outside of this racetrack, continue to get the good runs through the middle of the corner and on the exit so that he can continue to side draft Justin Levine. And here, has a little bit of a nose in front. Decent there from Seminario coming down into turn one. Drives it in a little bit deeper than Levine. Levine way down on the bottom. Should get a bit better of a center of a corner with the newer tires. But again, not gonna be enough. Johan with the advantage coming down into turn three. Justin side drafts him back, coming into the corner, drives it in deep down to the bottom, and he's just gonna clear himself across the nose of Johan Seminario in the middle of the corner. Justin Levine to the race lead, and he made it look easy.
A power move out of Levine. That power move right there could have been the move that seals him in for the championship here. A little too early to tell, but that was a huge moment in this championship final here.
A little bit further back, Joseph Ghazi running in the 10th place position. He's running down Pat Harvey. Every position for Johan is huge at this point. If he can get himself into the top 7, I think he's got the championship well done and wrapped up. Trying to go around the outside of Pat Harvey, still with the rear gunner of Reshaper right behind him. Johan's going to easily pick up the Joseph's going to easily pick up the 9th place position around Pat Harvey. A little bit newer tires for Joseph Ghazi than a couple of these cars in front, so he can run a few of these guys down and potentially get himself back in that championship lead if he's not already sitting there.
Quite the strung out group here, but they have been racing hard over the course of 200 plus laps now, folks. Putting on quite the race for you, quite the race for us up here in the booth as well. couple of smaller groups here that we're taking a look at. Here's Chad Kibbe.
Levine starting to stretch out that lead a little bit too. 0.7 of a second now over Johan. Got to imagine that gap's going to keep growing until Johan decides to come down pit road. He is within the pit window at this point. 36 laps to go at the stripe. So he's going to have to cut it or call it soon with how much time he's given up to Justin. But I don't know if there's even a time he can come down at this point to actually win him the title.
As you see, Seminario getting overtaken by the 9 machine of Nick King. King on a little bit fresher tire here. Working to unlap himself as he gets to the back bumper, the 1 of Levine. Side by side out of 4, and it's going to be an easy pass for the 9 here as he takes the spot, gets his lap back from Justin. Now, we're also reaching that point in the race, though, that doesn't really get mentioned much. You know, these guys, we've been going green for so long, you kind of get in the rhythm, you don't deviate from it. We all kind of dissociate just a little bit, you know, just get it home at this point. And now we got everybody coming down here in a handful of laps, fire on 4 fresh tires. Cars don't come out, it's going to feel entirely different. The track's been changing. A lot of stuff is different. And it's going to throw you out of that rhythm. And this is the time where you're most likely to see somebody make a big mistake, a costly error, somebody snap the car around, somebody overstep the boundary a little bit because you're just not used to running on fresh tires. You get caught up racing somebody, and you haven't been racing somebody for a handful of laps, and, you know, we're getting to that critical point where, you know, a caution may be looming. Because it always seems like clockwork. Right after we have a long stint, when you get the first, you know, couple cars down pit road, somebody makes a mistake somewhere. And oh, that somebody was almost Seminario through 1 and 2. A huge slide, smoking the back tires off of the 56 machine. And an impressive save as you see the 12 of Feltman now coming to contest for second.
Feltman around the outside trying to take the second place spot. He's going to easily do it as Johan comes down pit road. Johan calling it quits. He was a second and a half behind Justin Levine for the race lead. Now it's all dependent on when does Justin decide to come down pit road himself. And also Kazi had worked his way up to about the 6th place position. So Kazi, I think a couple of those were pitters in front of him, but we also got word in the chat from an admin that they are tracking Kazi as the championship leader at this point, as both him and Reese Schaefer take a place away from Chris Vinson. And here comes Levine, only given 1 lap to Johan Seminario on this cycle. Justin's going to come down pit road and take, I believe, his final set of tires.
Final set, I think you're right, based on how many I think they started with. They started with 5 or 4 tonight.
No, they started with 7. They had 6 behind the wall.
7. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but they used 1 in the middle of
laps.
stage 1, the middle of stage 2. And then they used 1 at the cautions for both those stages, so that would have been 4.
Right.
They had 6 behind the wall. They've already used 1 set in the middle of this one, and now they're using their second set in the middle of this one. So that would be 6 behind the wall. Oh my God! If Kazi just sped on pit road, I'm going to lose my mind.
Hate to bring it up in the middle of us talking about tires, but Seminario just about booked it around coming out of pit road, got up on the transition. Also, do we have any metrics on if Kazi sped on entry? Because that was a huge lockup, but I mean, we're also used to seeing him lock up all 4 coming down pit road every week.
He didn't. He's taken the tires already, so he's not got the hold. But man, that was okay. That was close. If you're okay, I'm gonna go back to the low IQ individual stuff. Why would you even risk it if you're Joseph Kazi at this point? You're tracking to be the championship leader, and you're gonna do that entering pit road.
I think he likes seeing the smoke come up from the fenders.
He might.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
He does it every week. He does it
easily
every
amused,
week.
right? He is easily amused, so that would make sense.
I paid for the tire smoke. I'm gonna see it.
My goodness. Ooh, Levine just found the wall out of 4. A little light touch. But Johan's trying to bridge that gap. So at least give us a race for the lead here. But looking at Joseph Kazi through 3 and 4. Coming down pit road. Gets her kind of woed down. Slams on the brakes. just gets it under pit road speed in time. And you can enter pit road a little above speed if you get it slowed down heavy enough afterwards. I mean, you got to get it slowed down really quick after. I guess Joseph was just barely able to do that. But right now, Johan is not saving tires. I can tell. He's pushing those things a little hard while Justin is saving them ever so slightly in the race lead. But Johan's ran him down. He is getting to the back bumper of Justin, even on the lap older tires. Johan's going to need to take this race lead and then hold on to it as long as he possibly can to give himself a shot.
Look right now at your current race leader, Lou Christian, leading Reese Schaefer. He's got staying out a little bit longer here on the cycle. Means Kazi's lost his wingman.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Or is he doing this to fall behind Kazi and help him give a little push with
push
fresher
him down
tires?
the straightaways. Yeah, exactly. He's.
I think that's what's going
well,
on here.
No.
No.
He's definitely.
Oh, no.
Wow.
He
Schaefer.
was 62 at the line.
Now he can wait on Kazi.
That had to have been a speeding penalty, right? That had to have been.
Oh, yeah.
The rear gunner is gone. Watching him come down into his pit stall. And the tires are going on already. And he didn't, I can't believe that he did not just have a 40-second hold. I am mind blown.
But if I think about going a mile over on pit entry, I get.
Oh,
I
never
get a
mind.
40.
Never mind. He's still stuck in the box. I forgot.
Oh,
They've served the penalty after. My mistake. I just get speeding penalties so infrequently that I didn't.
I see.
Well, that must be nice.
All of my
Mm,
speeding
so
penalties are on
infrequently.
exit. Then at that point, you just have to come back in for a pass-through. So a little bit different, but 24 laps to go. Kyle Westwood coming in for his final pit stop. I like this from Westwood, right? Running this as late as possible, getting the tires as late as possible. So if a caution flag does come out, Westwood would have the newest tires in the field. I like that strategy call from Kyle. I think that that's putting himself in a position to win this race if the caution flag flies for him.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a good place to be. But the caution flag, we'll see. They're pretty spread out right now. What do you think would make the caution flag actually come out at this point?
Self-spin, really. I mean, that's about it.
Self-spin.
They're pretty spread out. I mean, most of the field is pretty spread apart. Lou Christian here has newer tires than Kazi, I do believe. So I think that Christian will probably pass Kazi by the end of this race, as long as he doesn't fence himself too hard, like we just saw out of 2 there. But that would drop Kazi back to 7th. But even so, I think a 7th place finish is going to be enough for Kazi to win the title.
Now we're going to find out if Schaefer's arm's itching.
There's no chance he does. I think Kazi's in position to win, so I highly doubt
he's
Schaefer's going to be pulling any.
No, I'm saying
abrasive.
I'm saying if Kazi wasn't though, if he got a speed man, we'd be finding out how quick Schaefer's arm is itching.
I'm just going to keep my personal camera on Kazi for the rest of this race, just so that whenever he does wreck this thing, I'll just be able to scream it out immediately.
Because it's easy to expect. I mean, we're on 220 right now of 240. We got only 20 laps to go.
Lou Christian's going around the outside of Joseph Kazi right now down the back straightaway, taking that 6th place position away from him. But then it is a while before there's anybody else within shouting distance of Kazi. So I think that this will be his finishing position if he does not make a huge mistake like he is prone to do. So Kazi looking like he's going to take home that championship with a 7th place position. Sorry, 6th place now. I believe one more car pitted in front of him. So he actually ends up going up one more spot. So Kazi in 6th. I think he's going to be okay. Well, it looks like Dave Fuge actually had maybe an internet issue or something from the top 5.
That's a shame because Dave was on one heck of a run here to close out the season.
It's going to be so funny if Kazi wins this championship by 1 point, and it's because somebody lagged out in front of him on the last stint. Would you want to win a championship that way, Sheldon?
Buddy, if it brings home the money and the hardware, I don't care. Oh, we got a caution and it's not Causey.
That was an admin thrown yellow for Dave Fuge. What? Where did he
Kyle
come
Westwood,
from?
too.
Where did he go?
Oh,
Where did he come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
wow.
I'm not quite sure.
that is
Let's go in the way back and see what happens here.
I cannot believe what I've just seen.
Whoa!
He blinked in turn 4 after being blinked out forever, but it was riding the fence, and then his car was destroyed. He came across the racetrack, got Dakota Jorgensen, and then it was just a melee after that. And the admins had to throw the yellow from the broken car on the front straightaway.
I've never seen a car that torn up. In the next gen era,
yeah.
anyway. Like, the whole rear end housing was ripped out of it. That's crazy.
Okay.
Well, let's talk strategy now.
There's no fault really to Dave Fuge there. That's all internet issue. And then he blinks back in. He said he was still frozen on his end.
Yeah, he said he's...
I mean, that throws this for a loop. I'm going to tell you right now, Johan used his tires up too much getting to the back bumper of Levine. So I think Johan's out of it. I don't think that he can pass Justin with the used up tires being a lap older than Justin's too. The real big question is what happens to Kazi on the restart. We've seen the restarts be a little hairy. He's sitting in 6th place, so he's going to be starting on the outside. If I'm Levine, I got to pick the inside here and hope that somebody on the outside makes the same mistake that we saw Mark Sanchez make earlier that took out PB Henry and Kyle Gerlach.
All right, so he said he froze. So what that sounds like to me, it doesn't sound like it was a network issue. Now, on our end, we saw Fuge go bye-bye. But on his end, it sounds like he got locked up in between frames. And, you know, on your screen, it'll lock you up in between frames. You're, frozen where you're at. But relative to where iRacing is, your car's all over the place.
Thank goodness that didn't happen in front of one of our championship contenders.
Yeah, I mean, definite disappointing break to finish the season off for Jorgensen, though, because I'll tell you what, and Westwood, and Ethel, and a handful of others.
Yeah, Westwood had set himself up to be the beneficiary if the yellow flag did come out, having the newest tires in the field, but instead he's destroyed. Oh, boy.
Ruh-roh.
Not ideal.
Well, now you gotta be wondering if anybody a little bit further in the back of this field had an extra set.
I don't think they did.
Good question.
Going on board with Ethel here.
I feel like we would have noticed that by now.
God.
And for Ethel, there's not a whole lot you can do. You already got load in the car coming through the quad oval. Kind of difficult to see him to begin with coming out of turn 4, the way the track's shaded up here. And
yeah, I think the lights need to be on by now, and it'd be a little bit brighter. But
you also don't expect there to be a car just turning down off the wall at about 60 miles an hour. But there's nothing Fuge could have done there either, because you can't alt F4 when you're frozen. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, you don't even realize what's going on. Really, that was definitely just a problem between Fuge and the server or his hardware. Couldn't quite tell. Nonetheless, like Aaron says in the chat, sets us up for an interesting finish. We're gonna have 15 laps to finish this thing. Now everybody packed up once again, and your championship leader running in 6th place. He's just got to finish where he's running. But man, the way the restarts have been, I'm a little scared for Kazi now.
He's sweating bullets here.
Where's his rear gunner at?
I think the end of the longest.
Yeah, he's way back there. He's a lap down. So he's lost his dancing partner. We're going up to the line. 15 laps to go. Levine, Seminario, or Kazi. Who's going to win the championship? Who's going to win the race? Levine with a great start on the inside of the racetrack. Johan did not get going. And on the outside, Kazi getting held up as well. Could lose a position or two.
Side by side through 1 and 2. Seminario getting battled by Feltman. Feltman are going to come out top here. Take the 2nd spot in the closing laps. Here comes Seminario, though, diving back down to the inside, not trying to give up this position, trying to get everything he can, have every opportunity he can to bring home the championship, but it looks like his luck is just running out ever so slightly. As you can see, the tires still fading on the 56 machine. And Feltman putting together a really good run on the top line.
Levine flies down to the bottom of the racetrack through 1 and 2. Johan still sucks side by side for that second place position with Feltman. Feltman looking to clear him as we come down to turn number 3. Kazi stuck back in that 7th place position. He thinks he's probably fine sitting in 7th. He just hopes nobody junks it in front of him and takes him out with him. And here, Johan Seminario losing another spot. Luke Christian flying around the outside.
Luke Christian coming alive here in the later stages of the race, trying to take the 3rd spot from Seminario, working the middle seam right now, trying to keep Seminario pinched down a little bit on exit. Christian going to have the momentum, and he's going to get it. Now Seminario just has to find some kind of way to stop the bleeding as he's fallen into the clutches of Tim Wortman Jr. And right behind him within a stone's throw is the 33 of Vincent. And just out of the picture there is going to be Joseph Kazi.
Luke Christian up 12 places from where he started this race, looking very good right now as well. He moved up a couple of places after that restart, guys. He was really, really moving fast. Luke Christian was. He's just done a 29.2 was his last lap, 29.2.8, 29.28. So one of the faster guys on the field overall.
Kazi now working the inside line to get past the 83 machine of Wortman Jr. Going to get it with ease here at the start-finish line. Now 1 car separating him from Johan Seminario. That is 1 car is the 33 of Chris Vincent.
Coming out of turn 2, a new challenger in the 2nd place spot. Luke Christian's had a heck of a restart. He's all over the back bumper of Levine coming down to turn 3. He's going to look to the inside. Levine absolutely has to finish in the lead for him to have any opportunity in the points. So he's going to fight for this one like it matters more than any position over the course of the entire year, and that's because it does. Levine trying to hang on. He has the lead at the stripe, but Lou still looking down to the inside through turn 1.
Luke Christian sends it deep down to 1 and 2. Going to get side by side with the 1 of Levine. But not able to connect the momentum on corner exit. Levine going to walk away from the 21 machine of Christian, but Christian going to go up to the outside line to try and find a little bit more.
A lot of sparks we're seeing off the wall as these guys are getting heated up towards this last 10 laps of this race here. We just saw the onboard looking backwards. There's going to be a lot of potential contact, a lot of potential door knocking, wall banging. It's going to be an exciting time. There it is already. Begin happening. I think that was Seminario.
Christian looked to the inside of Levine through 1 and 2. The move was not quite on. Levine kept the momentum around the outside of the corner. Kazi, your championship leader, still stuck in that 6th place position, fighting side by side with Wortman Jr. Able to have the position over the stripe. But Kazi, again, just trying to finish where he's running, not trying to do too much. He's going to slide across the nose of Wortman through 1 and 2. Levine still holding the lead. Christian tried the outside of 1 and 2 that time to get a big run down the back. Can he make the move? Down into turn 3. He fainted low. Levine goes down to block it. Now somewhat side by side for the 2nd place spot. Feltman lifts ever so slightly. And Christian, again, trying to mount a challenge up to Levine for the race win.
Impressive runs he's put together all season, all over the back bumper of one of your championship hopefuls in the closing laps of the season finale here at Charlotte. Trying to dive down to the bottom, trying to find some kind of momentum, something to make him better than that 1 machine here. And he's got a whole bunch of momentum up to the back bumper to 3, but now he's about to fall into the clutches of the 12 of Feltman as Feltman gets all over the quarter panel. Christian barely able to slide his way back into frame. But it looks like the 21 machine is starting to fade a little bit here. And
Luke
here we come
Christian
through
may
1
have
and
driven-
2.
He may have been driving those tires a little bit hard. Now, remember, Luke Christian did not take tires, I don't think, the last time that he pit in, just a
1
guess.
car in the inside wall. Big
Oh,
wreck
no.
coming down into turn number 3. A couple of cars found the inside fence. And we're under another yellow flag. So this turns this one into a green-white-checkered to end it off.
What a way to
Old
finish it off.
tires. Old tires. Green-white-checkered. Championship.
It's Jose Medina,
Oh.
48 there. We found
Right
the inside
itself.
wall. Oh, he just got turned.
Oh, and that's a hard hit.
Side draft gone wrong.
I think it was a little more side than draft there.
I have to agree with you. That's a good way to put that.
Let's see.
Oh, Yeah, I mean, Medina
Yeah.
can't go any higher at that point, right? His right rear tagged the fence whenever he got touched.
I feel like that's just one of those situations where the 17 machine came off the corner, thought the wheel was straight enough, but obviously it wasn't. And once you get hooked in like that, it's impossible to put the toothpaste back in the jar.
Yeah, Zart Nicotera, I definitely get why he's going for it. Going for the side draft, trying to get that position, but just took a little bit too much racetrack away from Medina on the outside.
Need a marble after that.
Nope.
Now, if you're Kazi, you're sitting here like, oh my goodness, why couldn't that have just run green? Now everybody gets one more shot at him on this restart that's behind him. And again, on a green-white-checkered, we've seen issues arise on green-white-checkers in the past. Kazi is just going to be thinking, please do not involve me.
My inner Elliott Sadler fan is having PTSD to 2016 over here.
Oh, similar situation.
Perpetual back mart in the Xfinity Series decided to stay out on old tires and wrecked or held up the guy that was going for the championship he'd been looking for about 25 years.
All right, so who's it going to be on this restart for the championship? I think Johan's kind of out of it with the older tires, so it's really looking like it's between Justin McQueen Levine and Joseph Low IQ Kazi for the championship.
I got a feeling you're going to get knocked out next time you go to Dega.
He never goes to Dega. He stays at home because
I
he's got
think
7
he's gonna
freaking
go.
kids.
I think him and the 7 kids.
He
are gonna
always
come over
has
there
to
and
take
curb
care of
stomp
the
you, brother.
kids. No. He's always got to take care of the kids and won't ever come. It's unbelievable. I even had a free ticket for him this last year because one of my friends backed out last second. And he goes, no, man, I got to watch the kids. Sorry. I'm like, what? Free ticket. And he said, nope.
You know what?
This is why you don't have children, folks.
You know, hey. But the Joseph Kazi slander, no, it's merited now. You turned down a free Dega ticket. That's a life-changing experience.
To be fair, he missed the worst Dega race ever, so I don't necessarily. Fair enough.
Not wrong.
I'm telling you right now, I was there. I hated it.
Yeah, it was pretty.
But
rough.
you do have all those other low IQ individuals around you thinking the 4-wide fuel saving is fantastic.
Well, I mean,
those are the guys NASCAR's going after.
For you, it was kind of killed when Blaney got massacred at the start of it, though.
I haven't cheered for anybody super hard since Dale Jr. So like I'm a Blaney fan. I'm a Blaney and Bubba fan. So like but I also like 3 or 4 other guys. So that really didn't ruin it for me. In all seriousness, the putrid racing that we saw did. But nonetheless, we're coming up to 2 laps to go in the championship race. So screw Talladega and screw NASCAR. We got some iRacing to finish up here for the Spartan Master Series presented by Chasity Tucker Realtor. And I think we're in for a good finish. Lou Christian going for his 2nd race win on the season. Levine trying to cap off a great season with a W and potentially a championship, but he's going to need some help. And that help is going to have to come from Joseph Kazi, either getting taken out or taking himself out. Coming up to the restart zone for potentially the final time tonight. Justin Levine to the gas, to the green flag. We're racing once again, 2 laps to go.
And Levine, with an incredible jump on the restart, pulls out about 2.5 car lengths over 2nd place as they are side by side contending for 2nd. Feltman down to the bottom, Christian up to the outside lane, just in front of Joseph Kazi and Johan Seminario. Feltman going to clear for the 2nd spot here down the back straightaway, pull up in front of the 21 of Christian. Now he's setting his eyes on Justin Levine up there at the point. A little bit of contact between Christian and Feltman, though. Christian going to move Feltman up the track as we come out of turn 4 to take the white flag.
1 lap to go in the Spartan Masters Series. This is it. Is it going to be Justin Levine? Is it going to be Joseph Kazi for the championship? Levine looks like he's got the race win settled. Way out in front, coming off of turn number 2. Luke Christian cannot mount a challenge from that far back. Kazi side drafting Vincent, trying to get one more spot, trying to get into the top 5. Feltman way up the racetrack, coming through 3 and 4. Might be 3 wide with Kazi coming across the stripe, but it's going to be Justin Levine to win the race, and it's going to be more than likely Joseph Kazi to win the championship with a 6th place finish.
What a finish, guys. Wow. Leaving me a little breathless over here.
We're going to have to wait for the official word from the admins, from the scorers. on our championship winner. We think it's Ghazi. He finished third in both of the stages. Levine was able to pick up 3 points. Listening to race control. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start our interviews here in a few moments with the third place finisher and wait for the point standings to determine who won the championship. Nonetheless, Justin Levine won the race, so he's going to go ahead and burn it down as if he did win the championship. Very well could have won the championship, but the 20-point penalties for him and Seminario definitely hurt their chances. But nonetheless, Justin Levine brings home the win in the season finale. Johan Seminario. Johan ended up getting up to second with the older tires. I can't believe that. Johan got the second. Lou Christian third. Jarrett Feltman finishes in the 4th place spot. Chris Vincent in 5th. Joseph Ghazi, we think, is your champion, bringing home a 6th place finish. 7th place, Tim Wortman Jr. 8th, Pat Harvey. 9th, Colton Gardner. And Kyle Gerlach rounds out the top 10.
Moving on, 11th, it's Reese Schaefer. 12th, Nick King. 13th, Art Nicotera. 14th, Mark Sanchez. 15th, Jose Medina. 16th, Chad Kibbe. 17th, PB Henry. 18th, Dakota Jorgensen. 19th, Rob Visa Jr. And 20th, Kyle Westwood.
And bringing it home 21st is going to be Dave Hughes Jr. after heartbreaking end to a great run that he put together this evening. 22nd is going to be Evan Ethel, followed by Sammy Haro, Corey Saucier. Kevin Zosiak bringing home 25th. 26th is going to Jordan Sailors, and rounding out the 27-car field tonight is going to be Kalen Mitchell.
Now that we've done the full field rundown, we're going to go ahead and pull up a couple guys for some post-race interviews. How about up first, we throw it over to Sheldon Atkins, who will be standing side by side with your 3rd place finisher of Lou Christian.
Lou, Sheldon up here in the Grid Vision booth. Gotta say, man, you put together one heck of a performance tonight. Definitely made a couple good calls with the strategy, it looked like, and had all the opportunity in the world to get the job done this evening, but unfortunately just ran out of time.
Man, I tried so hard to pass Levine. I could not get around in my head. I don't know. I think like 8-lap fresher tires, so I was just pushing it as hard as I could right there. I had a little strategy, like you said. I took 2 tires, just ran that last tank out, took 2, saved about 3 seconds on pit time, and that's what kind of put me up there. But yeah, I tried hard.
Well, what's the takeaway after this long, grueling schedule that you guys have ran? Feels like we started this back in what, November, October? It's been a haul. What's the final takeaway though from the SSRL Master Series this season?
This is a lot of fun. I appreciate all these guys doing it, and Grid Vision for throwing it on. I always rewatch the races. We'll be back next year. We'll make a playoff run. I did join a little late this season, which I think cost me a playoff spot, but we'll be back next year. Just grind out some top 5s and put in the playoffs next year.
Well, thanks for coming up here and talking to us. Before we send you away, though, who all do you want to thank and shout out for? This entire year.
Yeah, all the team and Grid Vision throwing it in, and boys with SSRL. It was a fun year. Appreciate it, y'all.
Well, looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table next season. And I'm going to hand it on over to Joe LaCastro with our 2nd place finisher on the evening, Johan Seminario.
Yeah, we're going to pull him up eventually if we can get him through the Discord channels in time. Finally, pulling up Joe LaCastro to the booth. So go ahead, Joe LaCastro. Let's hear what you got to say to Johan.
Here we go. Johan, how are you tonight?
Tired?
Yeah, you did 240 out there, and you and your teammates were chasing each other around most of that time, but you managed to stick around and pull out a 2nd place finish. Congratulations there. Did you decide that you were going to get 2nd place, or were you guys communicating about who was going to cycle into first there?
No, I was hands off. Whoever gets it. I was trying to win it. I was hoping. Sucks that caution came out and kind of ruined my strat there at the end, but.
Yeah, there was that very, very late caution there for you.
Yeah, the goal was I wanted to shortstop Levine and make him pit a lap ahead of me, which he did.
And then once I caught up to his rear, I was saving. And then I noticed the first 2 runs after the 20 laps, I was able to have better exit than Levine when I was holding behind him. So that was going to be the plan, but then the caution just ruined it all.
As they often do, the caution comes out and throws all your plans out the window. Well, I'm glad that you guys still were able to pull off a fantastic victory, although all the WinSim guys looked really good out there tonight. Looking back a little more generally on the season as a whole, do you guys think that you guys accomplished your goals as a team over the course of this season?
Yeah, as a team, yeah. I think we just repeated the team championship, so that's awesome. Me personally, I wrecked out too many times going for wins, so I think that's what killed me off for the finale. I think if I would have won the races, I should have won and not crashed out as much as I did. I probably would have been either leading the points or fighting at least for it a little bit better, closer. But overall, as a team, I think we dominated pretty well.
Absolutely. And how about going into next season? You guys got anything set up for that? Anything, any changes to the lineup that you can let us know about, or anyone new you're adding to the team?
Not to my knowledge. Usually us 4 or 5 have been the core guys for the last 2 years, and I don't know. There might be a secondary team. I mean, for all we know, we might go off to different ventures. Who knows? We definitely will come back if we can.
I'm sure that after these dominating victories, people are going to be knocking on OneSim's door. So congratulations there. Is there anyone you want to shout out to or thank for your performance tonight?
Yeah, for sure. As always, Team Conti for the awesome setup. I felt like we had a very fast car, and all the testing they've done been paying off. Obviously, OneSim, we pushed ourselves very hard this year, and again, paid off because I think we hopefully have won both championships, and friends and family and support, and you guys with a great stream.
Well, it's our pleasure to put the stream on and to watch great racers do great things. So thank you again for your time, and congratulations on that second place finish today and on OneSim's overall performance. Everybody, Johan Seminario. I'm going to pass it on back up to Austin Edstrom, who's going to take it away.
Yes, sir. We're going to go ahead and pull up our race winner of Justin Levine. Justin, do you have a copy, buddy?
Yes, I do.
Well, Justin, I don't think it was enough for the points championship for the end of the season, but nonetheless, you put on a heck of a drive. You did everything you possibly could to win the championship. I hate to say what more could you have done to do it, because I don't think that you could have done anything more. It's just unfortunate for the 20-point penalty that you and Johan have to get at the beginning of these races. Kind of screwed the pooch for you there. What do you think about the season on the whole, though, and what are your thoughts leaving this championship round after probably getting the most points in it, just not winning the championship?
Well, for starters, I'm going to be optimistic for a little bit here. There's been no confirmation. They're going back and forth, and I have other people texting me that somehow the mathematics are either 1 point in, 1 point no. So it's going to be really close. I'm excited to go down there and listen to everybody. Almost everyone is in Discord right now below us, listening to them figure out. But overall, awesome year. I wish I ended with double digits, but 9 wins on the year. Who can complain about that? Definitely gave away a bunch of wins to my teammates effing up or caution at the wrong period of time like Kansas, but nothing to be sad about. Had a blast racing. I do know what I could have done better tonight, and I didn't realize we were 3 coming off of turn 2 when I doored Kazi. I could have just finished them off. I could have just hard right. That's my championship right there, but that's not the way I want to win it. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just overall very happy and excited.
Well, Justin,
won the last 3 seasons, so proud owner.
If you happen to be 1 point off, is there a specific moment through this race, whether it be the end of stage 1 or a specific bonus point that you didn't get, that you're looking at thinking, man, if I could have just gotten that one position or that one bonus point, what's kind of sticking out in your mind on that?
Right off the top of my head, it's Kansas last week or 2 weeks ago. Dominating that race, coming down pit road, and Kazi hits the apron and spins, and both of us have to go to the back of the pack and drive through the field, and I did everything I could. But just that moment, because that one more spot could have been the difference.
Well, Justin, we're going to go ahead and let you go down to the motor coach lot and kind of talk to the rest of the admins and whatnot to kind of figure out this championship situation. And then,
Yeah.
well, if you end up having the championship, we'll pull you back up. If not, it was great to talk to you again. And, well, we're looking forward to seeing who won the championship here in a couple moments' time.
Thank you, Austin.
Alrighty, that was your winner tonight, Justin Levine. Potential championship winner, we don't quite know yet. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one. Might be a couple more minutes before we get the official word. So we're going to do one little commercial break before the end of this, just so that we can kind of go down here and chat with our league admins to decide who the champion of the series is. So whenever we come back, we're going to have an answer for you.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Makoni.
With the launch of Makoni Entertainment and Makoni Competizone alongside Makoni Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MakoniSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Makoni Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Are you looking to add to your diecast collection? Well, visit GoatRacingDiecast.com. Explore one of the largest collections available with the options for pre-orders, new inventory, and the GOAT's personal collection for over 25 years. There's an option for every level of hobbyist. Ship direct. Personal custom diecasts are available. Shop the GOAT Racing merch store. And if you're a driver, apply for a sponsorship today. Turn your hobby into a passion and head on over and shop GoatRacingDiecast.com.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Spartan Master Series presented by Chasity Tucker Realtor, and we do have a champion, and it's not who we thought it was. Justin Levine, your race winner, comes away with the championship by 2 points over Joseph Kazi. That equates to 1 position on the racetrack that Kazi lost at the line by 7 thousandths of the second. So Justin Levine is your champion on the season by that 7 thousandths of a second. Justin, how does it feel hearing that you're the champion this season?
It feels amazing. I feel terrible for Kazi. I'm looking back of how close it was to him gaining just one more spot, and that, me as an owner and as a friend of his, that's heartbreaking. Of course, I'm rooting for him if I can't win, but of course, I thought I was out. I didn't think I had any shot, especially with the I-rating penalty. But to hear that somehow the Met works out in my favor is unbelievable. So we're ending SSRL 2-time champion. That's awesome.
Swiped it away from your teammate at the death. It was a heck of a finish that you had at the end of the race there. The cautions kind of fell in your way to where Lou couldn't quite challenge you the way that maybe he wanted to over the last 10 laps. You gained 100 points for the win. Kazi gained 72 for that 6th place position. I'm mind blown. I cannot believe that you have come home as the champion. It looks like our chat can't believe it either. The terrorist himself, Colby Jackson, saying Justin is the Logano of SSRL. You're a Logano champ. He doesn't think it's legit. He's calling it a gimmick in the chat. So Justin, gimmicked up as it is or not, honestly, I feel like you overcame the gimmick. Myself, I call you the anti-Logano. So I mean, I already asked how's it feel, but man, what do you? Where was it won, man? Because you had to fight for every little bit of it today.
I don't know. My move in my head is me going 3 wide. I think it was Chris on my right side. Me and Johan battling, and because Johan was able to pinch me and I couldn't get past him to win stage 1, I knew the second that he was going to dive low to just try to get that separation with Chris, because Chris liked running the wall. I threw it in. You guys run the, I think a commercial or something like that. I threw it in as hard as I could. It stuck, and I drove away, and I won stage 2. So to me, just constantly staying in front of Johan and managing my tires and being able to get around him in the final pit stop before that caution fest at the end there. And that last Green-white-checkered, or whatever, the last restart, just hitting my marks and being able to drive away without any pressure is what I needed to win the championship.
Well, Justin, congratulations on a heck of a season. Tons of wins for you, tons of wins for One Sim. The championship for you, the team championship for your team. 9 wins on the season. Heck, you can make it 10 with the championship. Congratulations. Do you have anybody to thank to end off this season in the Spartan Master Series?
First off, Grid Vision, best out there. Love watching you guys. God, thank you guys for putting on such a great season. God, thank Dave and all the admins, Ben, Corey, all the viewers, everyone that helps put SSRL together. And shout out to One Sim, again, 3-time champions for all of us. And shout out to Kazi. I feel terrible for Kazi. He had it. I'm still staring at it. It's, I kid you not, the kick out of the Chevy nose versus the Camry. That's the difference right here. And of course, Ken Byron and Ryko Performance. Can't do without them. 9 wins on the season. Kazi had 6. And that's all Ryko power right there.
Well, Justin, congratulations once again on the championship. Heck of a season. And well, I think we can officially crown you Justin McQueen Levine after tonight. That is absolutely for certain. So congratulations once again, and looking forward to seeing if you can make it a 3-time champ next season.
Awesome. Thank you.
All righty, that was your season champion here for the Spartan Masters Series, Justin Levine. Joe, Sheldon, it was a heck of a finale, heck of a run to the championship, and ultimately the championship got decided by 7 thousandths of a second. Kazi just not able to get it. What did y'all think of the season finale and the season as a whole?
Well, you can't write something like that, obviously. It was as dramatic and exciting as I expected it to be here at Charlotte, and having these guys in the SSRL Master Series put it all down on the line was even better. The finish being what it was the piece de la resistance on top of a perfect meal. So I ate good tonight. That's what I'm going to say. I'll pass it to Sheldon.
Mic check. Oh, there we go. 7 thousandths of a second. Kazi is going to play that turns 3 and 4 through his head about 120 times before we come back here to start the season next year. I'd be looking to see a little more aggression out of him next season too, if you could even imagine that to begin with. He did everything he needed to do tonight, but Justin just found that extra little bit more. And I'm heartbroken for Kazi right now myself, but man, this series has put together both the Truck Series as well as the Master Series, has put together some of the best racing that I've ever had the luxury to sit up here in the booth and broadcast. And both nights, I mean, Joe, you can attest to it as well. We had no idea what was going to happen all the way down to the last second of the last lap.
Yeah.
And
Well-
we got a taste of that here again tonight, you know, with the confusion on who the champion was. Levine getting through with the narrowest of margins to win the championship after a dominating season, and kind of a walk-off, you know, gets snubbed 20 points and comes out there and just absolutely swings from the fence and gets the job done.
Well, that's
What a
going to do
season.
it from us here at Grid Vision. After a heck of a season finale in the Spartan Masters Series presented by Chasity Tucker Realtor. Big thank you to Chasity Tucker for coming on board for the season. And a big congratulations to Justin Levine for winning the race and winning the championship here tonight in the season finale. I'm Austin Edstrom. I've been standing alongside Joe LaCastro and Sheldon Atkins, as well as Austin Derbyshire behind the production booth. We will see you next time on the Grid.